Morning, everyone. My name is Bill Bergman, and I will be chairing this morning's meeting of the Zoning Board of Adjustment. With me is our Vice Chair, Tanetta Graham,
Present, Mr. Chairman.
our Board Secretary, Cheryl L. Gaston,
Present, Mr. Chairman.
Board Member Michael Johns,
Present, Mr. Chairman.
Board Member Taya Wynn. She may be on her way. Also here is our attorney, Lynn Reuter-Huber, our ZBA Executive Director, Ian Haggerty, and our Board Administrator, Lakeisha Dandy. This hearing is being recorded and will be posted on the ZBA website. By participating, you consent to be recorded. This is an in-person meeting with remote participation. Whether in person or on Zoom, if you're called to speak, please state and spell your name, wait to be sworn in, and then after that, each time you testify, start by stating your name. To enter your appearance, indicate the property address on the Zoom webinar, speak with a staff member, call the ZBA office by the close of business tomorrow, call 215-686-2429, and provide your name, email, and the address of the property in question. Remote participation. Raise your virtual hand when directed to speak. When we call on you, you must click the Join as a Panelist button. Use the Q&A only for procedural questions, not questions about the case. If you are joining by phone, press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. In-person participation. If testifying, get close to the mic so that all attendees and the court stenographer can hear you. No talking, eating, or drinking during the hearing. Aggressive behavior will not be tolerated. In an emergency, follow the staff instructions. The main exit is the 2 doors at the rear, and there are stairwells to the left once you get out into the hallway. If we evacuate, please go to Love Park, which is across Arch Street, and please remain there so we can account for you. So let's take a look at our schedule today. Number 8, MI 2025 Walsh Road, MI 2026-003-033. Could the Spanish interpreter please come on?
Good morning, Chair. This is Doreen, and I will be co-hosting this morning.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The Spanish interpreter will be coming in as a panelist.
Sure, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Could you please state and spell your name?
Franco Rodriguez, FRANCO,
Do you swear or affirm that you will interpret accurately, completely, and impartially from English to Spanish, from Spanish to English?
I do.
Okay. Could you please call Maria Gutierrez to come on, please?
Can you repeat the name? Sorry.
Yes, Maria, Gutierrez.
Se llama a la señorita María Gutiérrez.
There are no hands raised.
Okay. Interpreter, could you, we're continuing with this case until 9/15/26 at 9:30 a.m. Could you please announce this for us?
Estamos continuando este caso desde el 9:15 a las 9:30 a.m.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate your help.
Is there anything else I can help you with today?
No, that's fine. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.
All right, we're going to go to number 1. MI 2025-004-134, 3813 Folsom Street. Alan Nachemson or Mr. Goldberg, this is a resumptive hearing. Good morning, sir. Could you please state your name and spell for the stenographer? Do
Alex Goldberg, ALEX GOLDBERG.
you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Mr. Goldberg, this is a resumptive hearing. Our schedule is that we will have an update from you. There'll be questions from the board. We will take public testimony. It will be limited to what is additional today, and then we will go to the planning commission. So could you please start your presentation?
Sure can.
And you might want to just give a little overview of what the case is about.
Okay. So the property address is 3813 Folsom Street. We presented to the board on June 17th at 3:30 p.m. The application is for a three-family dwelling, the erection of a three-family dwelling on a currently vacant lot. This application was approved previously by way of variance in 2021. It had the support of the coordinating RCO at that time, which was Mantua Civic Association. Due to financing issues, my client was unable to build it. The permit expired, and they went to seek that variance again with the same set of plans. The application was again supported by the coordinating RCO, which was Hope PHL this time around. We also have a letter of non-opposition from the council member, Councilmember Gautier. And when we came to the zoning board on June 17th, there was some feedback that the massing of the structure was out of character with the block, and it was recommended that we create a mansard roof or a third-story setback. So we've done that. We have a proviso form and revised plans that you can see. Let me go full screen mode right here, listing the changes to the architectural drawings where we added a mansard roof to the third floor. There's a very slight increase in building height just because of that mansard roof, but pretty negligible. We also shrunk the building slightly in the rear to give a little bit more light and air in the back and rear yard space, an additional 6 feet. In turn, that reduced the occupied area. We've also added a built-in trash enclosure to the front of the property, and we corrected the front setback, which was previously listed at 8 feet to match the adjacent property, but upon an additional measurement, it was actually 10 feet, so that was corrected. These are those revised plans. You can see the mansard roof. Whoops, the mansard roof there. Let me go to the floor plans. I think it'll give you a better idea of what we're working with here. Obviously, the property was posted again. And here were the revised drawings. So there's a trash enclosure in the front. There is obviously, additional space in the rear yard, 16-foot wide rear yard. There is basement use, but we've sort of carved out a basement walkout out of the rear and kind of like a sunken patio back there. So what you're looking at is sort of top down here. The green unit is the top floor. It is a 2-bed, 1-bath. The second unit is pretty similar, 2-bed, 1-bath. And then the blue unit is the first floor and lower level, which is a 2-bed, 2-bath. We added a porch at the front, again, added the mansard roof. And you can see that there's, this walkout here, as well as a walkout of the rear here as well. With that, I'm happy to take any questions from the board.
Questions from the board?
I guess if you'd like for my client to adopt that.
You could if you bring.
Okay.
Sure.
Heaven
Yep.
Thomas is in the virtual audience.
Kevin Thomas is coming in as a panelist.
Thank you. Heather?
He should be coming in now, Chair.
Sure.
Kevin Thomas, can you unmute yourself?
Hello, hi.
Good morning. Could you please state and spell your name for the stenographer?
Hello, my name is Heaven Thomas, Heazen, last name Thomas, Thomas.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Unmute, please. You're muted.
Yes.
Hi. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Counsel?
Evan, did you hear my testimony today?
yes,
Was it true and correct?
yes,
And do you adopt it as your own?
yes.
Thank you.
Questions from the board?
What's the material of the trash can enclosure in the front, and how high is that?
So the trash can enclosure, I believe, is going to be sort of like metal panel doors, or like metal screen doors. As
Mhm.
far as the height, the first floor is 2 feet 6 inches above grade. It looks, according to this plan, that it's just about at that height level.
So the trash cans will be pretty well screened.
Yes,
Okay. All right. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Other questions?
Yeah, quickly, so there's also trash storage in the rear? Or that's just?
Theoretically, Unit 1 could store their trash in the rear, but, you know, I think it would just be easier to store it where the rest of the trash is stored.
Okay, thank you.
Questions from our attorney?
No questions at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Questions or comments from the virtual audience or the present audience here?
There are no hands in the audience, Chair.
Planning Commission,
Amy Boyd with the Planning Commission, AMYBOYD.
do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please proceed.
Chair, we've already went on the record about this case, but I'm happy to repeat if you wish.
Sure, why don't you do that?
The comprehensive plan recommends no change to the RSA 5 residential single-family attached zoning at this location. There is no unique condition or circumstance of this property that would prevent it from being used in conformance with the zoning code. Therefore, the Planning Commission recommends that the board deny the proposed use variance for multifamily household living.
Thank you. This case is closed.
Okay.
We will vote on this on 8/26/26 at 9:30 a.m.
Okay,
All right?
thank
And
you.
had conversations with council about that.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Number 5. Number 5, MI 2026 000492 4055 West Girard Avenue. Henry Clinton is the attorney.
Henry Clinton will be rejoining as a
Sure,
panelist.
thank you.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members
Good
of.
morning, Mr. Clinton. Could you please state and spell your name?
Sure, Henry Clinton, Henry, Clinton, CLINTON.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, Mr. Clinton, this is a resumptive hearing. My understanding, you will give us an update. The board will have questions. There'll be public testimony, and planning will have also have a chance to take questions. So why don't you start? And if you would, please just give us a brief overview of where we are with this.
Is that visible, Mr. Chairman, the first page?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You might want to make it just a little bit bigger if you get a chance.
Got it. So I was before the board early June on this project. The project involved the rehabilitation of a long dilapidated building, 4055 West Girard Avenue. We had full support of the community for 6 units. We presented to the board in the CMX2 zoning district. The board was not enamored with the number of units, the size of the bedrooms, as well as a apartment in the basement. And we've since revised those plans, and I have those to present to the board today. Table of contents, here's a refusal. It was simply concerning use. We had no issue with open space or rear yard. It was simply a use issue in the CMX2 zoning district. We did have the RCO, East Parkside Residents Association, full support with the initial refusal. And we had signatures from the block. You may recall this building. It's a large building on Girard Avenue in bad shape. My client has done some make safe issues with the property to safeguard it. And I'll show you the original plans, and this may help you recall what we talked about in June. So these were the original plans that we presented to the board. Again, vacant commercial space on the first floor. We don't know what that commercial space will become. We had an apartment studio in the basement, first floor, another unit. And then on the second and third floor, we had 2 units. There was concern from the board about the 2 bedrooms in the rear. We've since changed that and made those 1-bedroom units. The same with the third floor. So I'll move on to the revised plans. Again, reduction in apartments from 6 to 5, elimination of apartment in the basement, which is now designated as storage, inclusion of trash closets in the kitchens of all 5 apartments. Second and floor rear bedroom apartments are reduced. The bedrooms, that is, reduced from 2 to 1. Here are the revised plans. Again, commercial space in the front basement, storage in the rear. There's an existing access from the sidewalk into this rear space. So it's really not an egress well. It's an opening that you would see typically on corner stores where there are iron grates that you can open up and walk down into the basement. On the first floor, 1 apartment in the rear. We've now included the furniture in the drawings. And again, commercial vacant space in the front. We would go up the stairs situated in the middle of the building to the second floor. 1 bedroom in the rear, 2 bedrooms in the front, and that same floor plan is repeated on the third floor as you continue up the switchback steps, with 1 larger bedroom in the rear and 2 bedrooms in the front. So that is the presentation. My client is here to adopt my testimony.
Why don't you bring your client on?
All right. My client is to my right, your left. Can you spell your name for the board, please?
My name is Nevin Abedinai.
He might wanna get- Henry, could you bring him-
Nevin.
Henry, could you bring him a little closer?
A little closer. Spelling is Nevin, capital Abedinaj.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Nevin, you sat here when I presented your revised proposal, correct?
Yes,
If you had the opportunity to testify, would you adopt my testimony as your own and as shown, correct?
yes.
Thank you. Questions from the board?
Can you zoom into the plan so we can see the whole floor plan?
Certainly. Do you want me to concentrate on the basement, Mr. Johns, and work my way up?
Yeah, that would be good. So you made the changes, the suggested changes, and that's just storage. And I think that's great. First floor, yeah, zoom out a little bit more so we can see the whole plan. A little bit more. Okay. And so you go through, so the access to the backyard is through the kitchen, not through the bedroom. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Put that wall there.
Okay. All right. Can you just zoom out a little bit more so we can see the whole floor plan on both floors? No, zoom out.
Zoom
So
out,
we can
Henry.
see. Yeah, zoom out, not in, but out. Okay. Okay, yeah, it's better. That's better. Okay. Yep, you stop moving. Slide it back. All right. All right.
Any other questions?
Yep, I think I'm good.
Yeah, so the storage in the basement, is that for the units? Or just clarify, what's that storage in the back, in the rear basement?
That's really general storage for the commercial.
The green space is
The
still
green
commercial
space,
as well?
yes.
Okay.
Other questions?
Not a question, but a comment. That first floor apartment has that condition that I don't like, where you have to go through the living room and the dining room to get to the bathroom. But, I don't know how else you can rearrange it, but that's one of my issues with some of these. Okay. Just a comment.
Thank you, Ms.
Questions from-
Gasson.
Questions from our attorney?
No questions at this time.
Question or
Mr. Chairman.
comments from the virtual audience
No hands,
or
Chair.
the present audience here? Planning Commission.
Amy Boyd with the Planning Commission. At the time of the district plan, the property was zoned RM1 residential multifamily. The plan did not recommend a change. The property was later remapped to CMX2 commercial mixed use. The appellant could have earned a fifth and sixth unit with the mixed income housing bonus by providing affordable units or paying fee in lieu. The Planning Commission recommends that the board deny the requested variance for an additional dwelling unit.
Thank you. MI 2026 000 492 4055 West Gerard Avenue. I vote yes with proviso. Maximum 5 dwelling units, no household living in the basement.
Michael Johns, my vote is yes with proviso.
Cheryl Gaston, my vote is yes with proviso.
Tanetta Graham, my vote is yes with proviso.
Taya Nguyen, my vote is yes with proviso.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Number 3, MI 2025 007 576 918 North 28th Street. Zen Jin is the attorney. This is a resumptive hearing.
Jen has been promoted.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, counsel. Could you please state and spell your name for the stenographer?
Yes, my name is Zenjin, Zhenjin.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Counsel, this is a resumptive hearing. We will take testimony, update from you. There'll be questions from the board, will be public testimony, and also then planning will have a chance to make a recommendation. Why don't we start and in that, just give us a few minutes of where we were and where we are now.
Yes, good morning. I'm going to share with the board an updated submission that we just made with some of the information I believe that would address the concerns from the initial application presentation. I'm going to share that with the board now as I speak on this. This is a application for special exception in a CMX1 district at 918 North 28th Street. This is for use as a prepared food shop, essentially a coffee shop with hard ice cream service. At the last hearing, there were some concerns with the way the plans were presented, that it was not clear as to location of items, how the service is done. So my client and I went back and he has made a more detailed presentation, which I'm going to go through with the board right now. This is a location that in question. This application was in fact supported by the RCO after the meeting. Their only concern was trash, which we're going to address by having daily trash pickup from the location. As you can see, this property is a corner commercial property that has previously been used as some kind of office type space. My client intends to convert this into the shop that is being requested before the board. With the business, the idea is to have the Salasa Mediterranean Cafe. This is a European Greek style cafe with cafe pastries and ice cream. The ice cream itself is a hard ice cream, not soft serve, and will be served directly from a tub. The idea of this cafe actually comes from similar ideas and similar cafes already in existence in Europe, which is small style, mostly coffee service with a little bit of pastries and ice cream as additional available products. There will be minimal to no real seating required. There will be a few bar stools along the countertop. They are putting only like a small top reserved for employees for their breaks to avoid congestion inside the space. Everything will be designed to allow people to kind of come through, purchase, and take away quickly. There's going to be a coffee station, pastry display, ice cream station, and then pickup counter. There's no kitchen, no cooking, no frying. It's a very simple setup. When the customer enters, there'll be 3 self-serve kiosks, a cashier. Also, a worker would walk around with a mobile handheld device if there are a lot of customers to help move the line along. The employees will prepare the order, and then the customer will pick up the order and exit. So from the operations side, the flow would be order, routes the order to the display system, employees will prepare it, and then the customer will pick it up. There's fresh pastries will be delivered every morning. We're going to work with local and mostly local pastry shops that actually produces pastry on their own to deliver it on a daily basis. Ice cream would be delivered daily or every other day. There's no plan for a lot of storage on site, and that was actually one of the concerns from the last hearing. So the idea is to have things kind of flow. The coffee itself would also not require a lot of storage. I'm going to move down to we believe, of course, that this use at this location would, one, support local bakeries. Again, we're going to purchase locally. It would improve the corner for the neighborhood, which actually did come up during the RCO meeting. This at one time, long time ago, was a bar, and certainly that wasn't a well-liked operation. So this idea of having a coffee shop in its place was well received by the community. One of the key items with trash is to have it picked up daily to avoid any kind of trash gathering at the location. The employees will obviously clean up sidewalk in front of the store to make sure that cups and other things are not just left on the sidewalk. We do have the ability to put trash in the basement through Belco doors. The keys can be given to the trash company, and we have already reached out to a trash company, a woman-owned trash company business, and come to an agreement for daily pickup with that company. So the hours of operation would be 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Monday through Thursday and Sundays, and then 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturdays. This is going to be a business owned by and run by my client. It's a family-owned business. It's not part of any kind of a chain or franchise. So from the plan standpoint, my client has produced a slightly more properly skilled and more detailed plan for the board's review. As you can see, the restroom will be in the back corner. There's a small storage room, and the counters for working would be towards the front of the space, and the counter with the stool for people who do want to consume the coffee on site will be limited to the bar here and a few stools. The counter again the flow would be people can come in through here if there is a line and then exit through the front. But if there isn't a line, they can enter and exit through both of these entries, do their purchase and exit the space. So there's a 3D angle of what it looks like. Part of the storage solution is to have cabinetry on top of the preparation areas as well for additional storage for cups and things like that. That would be used as part of the service. For the most part, because the pastries are pre-made and delivered, they would just be laid out and sold. And if they're sold out for the day, that would be it. The same would go for the ice cream. And then primarily the focus would still be the coffee service. So that is essentially the special exception that we're seeking before the board, is to permit this coffee shop ice cream service to be at this location. We do believe that given the daily pickup and daily delivery kind of structure, this operation should not cause any hardship to the community greater than what is normally expected of such a business. So
Will
that
you
is
bring your
essentially
client
our
on then?
update.
Bring your client on.
Sure. My client is Matthew Maltepes. Mateo, can you raise your hand virtually to be identified?
Matthew has been promoted.
Hello.
Good morning. Could you please state and spell your name for the stenographer?
Yes, Matteo Maltepes, Matteo. Last name Maltepes, Maltepes.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Counsel?
Thank you. Good morning, Mateo. So did you see my presentation, hear my representations before the zoning board?
I did. Yes, I did.
Can you verify what I have represented to be true and correct and adopt it as your own testimony?
Yes, I do.
And you will be the personally operating this business, correct?
Yes, I will.
So you'll be directing the employees and making sure the plans are followed accordingly.
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Questions
you.
from the board?
Yes, where is the coffee bar part of this or?
In the coffee service would be done. Is this the machine?
Yeah, that's the espresso machine. Yes, correct.
Okay, so the service counter is right here for coffee preparation.
Okay, help me here, it's a little small. So where are we pointing to?
Oh, I'm sorry, I can zoom in.
Yeah, please, thank you.
So there's sinks and then the counter area. This is the espresso machine. So the
okay.
coffee preparation service will be through right here.
Okay. So then the employees are going to be in that area.
In this
They'll
area.
Okay, so this isn't self-serve, this is.
No.
No, it's not self-serve,
employees
no.
will be doing it. Okay, all right, thank you.
Other questions? Questions from our attorney?
Yes, I just wanted to clarify, are you using the first floor and the basement or just the first floor?
The service of coffee and everything will only be on the first floor. The basement would be accessory only for storage of trash if needed.
Okay, so you're using both the first floor and the basement then?
Yes.
Questions or comments from the virtual audience?
There are no hands.
Planning Commission?
Amy Boyd with the Planning Commission. The comprehensive plan recommends no change in zoning at this location from the current CMX1 commercial mixed use. The appellant has demonstrated that the proposed use will not cause detrimental impacts beyond what would reasonably be expected. The Planning Commission recommends that the board grant the requested special exception for prepared food shop.
Thank you. MI 2025-007-576, 918 North 28th Street. I vote yes with proviso. Interior trash storage, use limited to first floor and basement.
Johns, my vote is yes with proviso.
Cheryl Gaston, my vote is yes with provisos.
Tanetta Graham, my vote is yes with proviso.
Taya Nguyen, my vote is yes with proviso.
Thank you, counsel.
Thank you.
All right, number 4, MI 2025-007-735, 2313 North 11th Street. Meredith Ferliger is the attorney. Good morning, counsel. All right, this is a resumptive hearing. Could you please state and spell your name for the stenographer?
Meredith Ferliger, Ferleger.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
So we're going to take an update from you. There'll be questions from the board. Public testimony limited to what was said today. And then also planning will make comments.
Understood.
So why don't you just give us a little update as how we got here?
Just waiting for the exhibits to open. Right. All right, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, as you might recall, this case proposes 20 units on 11th Street, right at the intersection of West Dakota Street. There were a variety of concerns that were expressed by the board and the community during the last hearing. And since that time, my client has been in communication with several of the immediate neighbors that live on West Dakota Street, seeking to try and address some of those concerns. His goal, of course, was to try and address those concerns while also making revisions that would be responsive to some of the board members' concerns as well. He did hold 3 meetings with the immediate neighbors, and as a result, did agree to reduce the proposal from 20 units down to 17. And as a reminder, the by right conditions here are 13. So this is a fairly even split compromise that will still create the density that is characteristic of this surrounding neighborhood. Just as a reminder, this entire neighborhood here is a mix of CMX2 and RM1 zoning, as we showed during the first hearing, and as you can see on the zoning map. So the city has recognized the need in this particular area to create additional density to spark reinvestment and revitalization. As I mentioned during the first hearing, and again, as just a reminder, this property happens to sit just 1 block from PHA's latest affordable housing development that this board saw last year. And then again, just 2 doors away at 2307 North 11th Street, this board had recognized the hardship facing this particular block and the properties on it, granting additional density for an overall density in that case of 297 square feet per unit. So the 17 units that are now proposed and as are reflected on these revised plans is just within a few square feet of that density that was already granted for this particular block. So in addition to the density update, the floor plans were also revised to address both board and community concerns. So just to highlight a couple of those changes. At the first floor, and I did include revised plans, these revised plans did not come with a revised plan proviso form because none of the changes that I am about to show are anything that would require stamped zoning plans. So I'm referring to them as revised plans, but they are not anything that would have required an actual proviso floor plan or anything like that. So at the first floor, the trash room was relocated at the request of the community. It was previously located off of West Dakota Street, and specifically in response to neighbors who were concerned about the trash being accessed from Dakota Street, it has been relocated to North 11th Street. Furthermore, in response to the board's feedback, a trash room and chute has been added on all floors, and I will show you that at the floor plans here. So again, first floor level, you can see the little circles, and then as you move up to the higher floors, you can see that designated trash room providing a direct chute down. And then in addition, at the basement level, a designated trash storage area was added to supplement the bike storage that was already provided. And again, just as a reminder, this is an elevator building, so this will provide access to all tenants regardless of their particular physical needs. And then, of course, just in response to the fact that the unit count changed, the the unit layout has changed slightly as well. So as now designed, there are 10 one-bedroom units, 5 one-bedroom plus den units, and 2 two-bedroom plus den units. And then at the first floor as well, the previously provided mailroom has also now been expanded to become a mail and package area. The only concern my client believes he's been unable to materially address is parking. However, as this board knows, parking is not required in CMX2 or RM1, nor could a lot of this particular size accommodate any form of material parking. Fortunately, this site is located within walking distance of no less than 8 transit stops and is also within walking distance to the Broad Street line and a 10-minute walk to the North Broad Regional Rail stop. Furthermore, as we showed during the first hearing, off-street parking is not a common condition in this neighborhood. So just to bring it all home and summarize, we do believe that our original presentation made it abundantly clear that this particular property suffers from a significant hardship that would prevent any form of ground floor non-residential use that is required in CMX2. The board recognized this very hardship by granting relief just 2 doors down. In terms of the overall density, this is a unique block where there are no other active or non-abandoned structures on this entire block of North 11th Street. These factors give this property section of North 11th Street the feel of a largely abandoned industrial corridor, which does justify a slightly higher density than the code would allow here. And again, this is really to allow this property and some of the other new development to sufficiently activate the area. And again, not to belabor the point here, but the board did recognize these factors just 2 doors down. And this particular project will supplement that while adding necessary density, providing all Type B accessible units, including 2 deed-restricted affordable units earned through the mixed income housing bonus. Even though the project did receive overwhelming support from the assigned 37th Ward RCO, my client did take great measure to attempt to address the concerns of the immediate neighbors on the block, and we do believe that this proposal now materially responds and strikes a careful balance of all of the competing factors that weigh on this particular property. That is our update.
You want to bring your client?
Please. Dennis Schifrin, please.
Dennis Schifrin will be rejoining as a panelist.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I hope everyone can hear me. This is Dennis
Yes,
Schifrin.
could you please state your name and spell for the stenographer?
My name is Dennis Schifrin. Spelling my name is Dennis, and my last name is Schifrin.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Counsel?
Thank you. Dennis, have you been present today and heard all of the additional testimony and evidence that was offered in front of the board today?
Yes, I have.
Do you agree that testimony was true and accurate, and would you adopt it as if you had provided it to the board yourself?
Yes, I would adopt it as my own.
Thank you.
Questions from the board?
I have a question. Can you go back to the plan? What's the height again?
The height of the building is 45 feet. That has not changed.
Okay.
Questions from our attorney?
No questions at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Questions or comments from the virtual audience?
There are no
Come on.
hands.
Good morning. Please take a seat. Could you please state and spell your name for this? Is that one? Yeah.
Yeah,
Please
I
state
think
and
so.
spell your name for the stenographer.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth O'Carroll, and my name is spelled Elizabeth.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we have a rather large caseload today.
Okay.
So you'll have 2 minutes to really state where you stand at this, okay?
Sure. And can I just ask before my time begins, there are community members here that I'm also with that would like to have the chance to speak. So if I keep it short, maybe they can have enough time as well. Great. So thank you all so much for being here today and for listening to our concerns. I am opposed to this. I uploaded this morning a petition of neighborhood concern regarding the proposed development at 2313 through 2317 North 11th Street. Did you all receive that?
We received it this morning, correct?
Yep.
Thank you. So it's a really long thing. I don't know if you're interested in looking at it or if you'll have a chance to. I'm not going to read through everything since I'm limited on time, but there are 22 signatures in here that are opposed to this project.
Okay.
And the very few points that I just would like to make is I'm here representing the nonprofit organization that's directly across the street, Life Do Grow Farm, 2316 through 50 North 11th Street. It's been in existence since 2010, and we've developed family-like relationships with our neighbors. So I'm here today in support of their opposition to this, and would also just like to say that although there's been a revision to the original plan, there has been no opposition to what they've already been permitted to build. Our neighbors would like to see a bookstore or a coffee shop made in that bottom area where there's no access to anything like that. And these are elderly generational homeowners that we have living on this block, and I think now more than ever, it's important to protect that legacy in North Philadelphia that's going under unprecedented redevelopment. And that's all I have to say today.
Thank you very much for
Thank you.
coming in. Next person. Good morning. Why don't you get to move the chair up a little bit? Sure, thank you. Could you please state and spell your name?
Morning, everyone. My name is CJ White Lawrence. That's capital C, capital J, last name WHITE hyphen LAWRENCE.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing
I
but the
do.
truth? And you heard our 2-minute rule, so please proceed.
Yes, we are opposed. And as she has stated before, we do have elderly people there, as well as we have younger people, generational on this block. We are a one-way, one-sided parking community, and we already have issues with parking. You would cause people to have to, who can't walk, go several blocks to park and then to walk home. A 15 or 20 unit, whatever the unit you're stating, is too much.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
and so we're opposed to that.
Thank you for coming down. We appreciate it. Do you have any questions of that? All right, next person. Is there anyone in the virtual audience?
Yes, Chair, I have a person with the last
Oh,
name
okay,
Love.
sure.
They will be promoted.
Good morning.
Oops.
Hi, could you please state and spell your name?
My name is Theresa, Theresa. Last name Jordan, Jordan.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please proceed.
I've been to one of the meetings that Mr. Dennis had regarding his feelings and our feelings toward the trash
Yeah.
and the cars. And so there was no resolution at that meeting. We heard what he had to say, and then he heard what we had to say. There was still no resolution at that time. He's met with some of my family members on the block, and there still hasn't been any type of resolution. And it's mainly because of how many units this building is, as well as no parking and the trash issue.
Okay.
So nothing has been resolved as far as that part.
Thank you very much for coming down here. We appreciate it. Is there anyone else in here or in the virtual audience?
I have a hand up.
Go ahead.
Okay, person with the last name Love. They have been promoted.
Okay. Good morning.
To May Love, can you please unmute?
Hello, I'm sorry.
Hi, good
Good morning,
That's right.
board.
Good morning. Could you please state and spell your name for this tonight?
Tina Love, Love. I am a neighbor on the Dakota Street, and I was in the last.
Hold on 1 minute.
I'm
Do you
sorry.
swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please proceed.
Yes, a neighbor on Dakota Street, and I am opposed to the proposal. Nothing has changed. The fact is, we still have lack of parking. And let's not forget, on the opposite end of the block is another apartment building. It's just no sense of community anymore. They're building these tall buildings. You can't come out and see the sunlight anymore, and it's just not community based anymore. And my primary concern also is the parking. If you
Okay.
have two apartment buildings, one on each end of the block, is nowhere to park. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else in the virtual audience?
There are no hands.
Planning Commission.
Amy Boyd with the Planning Commission. The comprehensive plan recommends a change in zoning from the existing CMX2 commercial mixed use to RSI5 residential single family. The proposed lack of active ground floor use is in harmony with the surrounding neighborhood and would not be required in the recommended zoning. The request for an additional units above what would be allowed with the use of MIHB is an overuse of the property. The Planning Commission recommends that the board grant the requested variance for no active use on the ground floor, but deny the requested variance for 17 dwelling units.
Right, thank you very much. So the case is closed. There'll be no more testimony. We will vote on this next Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Give me, what is the date?
August 26th.
August 26th. We'll vote next week. And I want to thank everybody for coming in and thank you for your presentation. Thank you. Number 4. Wait, no.
This was number 4.
No, I got it. Give me a minute. Number 2. MI 2025-205-993 6100 Wissahickon Avenue. Meredith Furliger is the attorney. Counsel, could you just state your name? You've already been sworn.
Meredith Furliger.
Right, and this is a resumptive hearing, right?
Yes.
Are you part of the presentation?
The Blueprint Hill Civic Board member, so I was going to come and speak.
Yeah, why don't you wait, we'll call you. We'll call you. You're gonna have plenty of time to come up. We'll give you a call, okay? Okay, all right. Counsel, this is a resumptive hearing.
Yes.
If you would you give us an update?
Yep.
Hold on a minute. I'll tell you.
I'll bring you up to
what we have.
speed.
A lot of notes on this case. And then there'll be questions from the board. There'll be public testimony, as we've talked before, and also the planning commission. So why don't you start? And
Sure.
give us an update as to how we
Yeah.
arrived at this point.
For sure. So just by way of a very brief recap, during the first hearing, the board heard some introductory testimony about the property's unique size, shape, and orientation. And again, the property is at 6100 Wissahickon Avenue. The main issue here, as the board heard during the first hearing, is the steep slope that surrounds the entire frontage of this property. So this particular refusal is only pertaining to that steep slope. So just as a reminder, at Exhibit 16, as the board saw during the first hearing, you can see the dark gray areas, which indicate that steep slope that's over 25%, showing that this particular property is not only unusually shaped, but would be completely foreclosed of any form of by right development because of the location of that slope. So during the first hearing, you heard predominantly testimony from our architect, Carl Emberger, who described the project overall. And just to give you a rendering and refresh your memory, we did also present to you the project as it was originally designed, and then we also expressed the changes that were made in response to the community's concerns, which they did also allude to in their letter, that most of the changes were made responsive to their concerns, not all. We did also describe the standards that this board should be applying in consideration of the steep slope variance. Just to refresh your memory, because they are extremely relevant to the next witness that I had, first, we have to show that the development will not result in an increase in stormwater runoff or the shifting of earth to adjacent buildings or an increase in loss to property. And then second, we're required to submit an earth moving plan. So as we last left off during the last hearing, I was about to bring up our civil team to verify compliance with the steep slope standards, and then I have just a brief argument to conclude. So at this point, I would like to, I have two witnesses.
Sure.
The first one, I believe, is on Zoom, Alex Bruno.
Okay.
They have been promoted.
Good morning, Mr. Bruno.
Hello. Hi.
Good morning. Could you please state and spell your name for the stenographer?
Yes, Alex Bruno, AlexBruno.
Right. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please proceed, counsel.
Thank you. Alex, if you could just introduce who you are and what your involvement was with this particular project.
Yes, my name is Alex Bruno. I'm a professional engineer and the president of Leak Engineering. For this project, we conducted the geotechnical investigation.
And just generally speaking, what is a geotechnical investigation seeking to determine?
The geotechnical investigation will take samples at varying depths to determine the composition of the soil at those depths, as well as the bearing capacity of the soil at those depths.
So if we turn to Exhibit 19, is this the geotechnical report that you prepared and submitted?
So that is not the geotechnical report, but that is a geotechnical observation. Okay, yes, that's the geotechnical.
Sorry, it was on the second page.
Yes.
So this is just a summary letter on that first page. Is that accurate?
Yes, that was a letter to the zoning board.
So on the first page of your conclusion, it generally states that the site appears to be previously disturbed and influenced by prior grading or earthwork activities rather than solely the result of undisturbed natural topography. What does that mean?
So when we did a little bit of an investigation, historical investigation of the site, it appeared that the road adjacent to the site had been widened in decades ago. And also when you look at the boring logs for the geotechnical report, you can see the first 2 to 4 feet is sand and fill material.
So I included at Exhibit 25 just a sample of some of the Streets Department legal cards showing that Wissahickon Avenue in particular was widened several times between 1793 to much later, going from 45 feet to eventually its current condition of 60 feet. So with the later opening of Walnut Lane, is it conceivable that the slope of the site resulted from those activities?
It is conceivable that they would have taken the cut from the road and backfilled it onto the site, yes.
So at the time that you prepared your geotechnical report in February, you did also make some preliminary conclusions relative to the stormwater runoff from the site. Can you summarize those findings?
Yes, and it's important. We're not the civil engineer, but any runoff from the site would be designed to be captured either by the stormwater system that would be designed for the building.
And just to confirm, at the time that you were making those general conclusions, that was prior to the stormwater management plan being prepared that Colliers is here to discuss. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
And then based on your findings and in your professional opinion, do you believe a developer could build on top of this slope without disturbing it?
Sorry, when you say build on top of the slope,
Meaning leave the slope exactly as it is and just sit a building on top.
there would have to be some excavation required for the building of the depending on how the foundation lays. There would have to be some disturbance to the slope. Yes.
And did your investigation reveal any conditions of the site that, in your professional opinion, would impair this developer's ability to safely construct a building on the site?
No.
That's all I have for Mr. Bruno.
Next client.
And then next, I'd like to bring up Gabrielle from Colliers. If you would come up.
Good morning. Could you get closer to the mic for me? Could you please state and spell your name?
Sure. Gabrielle Buchter, Gabrielle. Last name's Buchter.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Counsel?
Thank you. Gabrielle, if you could just share what firm you work with, your professional background, and your involvement in the project.
Yep. I'm a civil engineer with Colliers Engineering and Design, and I'm a professional engineer in Pennsylvania.
And you were the civil engineer that prepared many of the relevant plans that we're going to talk through today. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay. So let's start first with the steep slope plan that I have up on the screen here at Exhibit 16. So this plan shows a limit of disturbance that generally infers the entire site is to be disturbed. But is that disturbance calculation relative to the slopes or relative to the site itself?
The limit of disturbance is relative to the entire site.
So based on the design, in your professional opinion, is the project designed to avoid as much disturbance to the slopes as possible?
Correct. Our design intent would be to limit the disturbance to only what's necessary for the proposed construction and development.
So it's not disturbing 100% of the slopes?
Correct.
Okay. In accordance with the code, in order to disturb these slopes, we're also required to establish that an earth-moving plan was prepared. Was that prepared in this case here?
Yeah.
All right, let me bring that up. Go. All right. And is that general plan and documentation that was submitted to the Water Department shown up on the screen here at Exhibit 18?
Yeah. There's a plan showing, yep, that's the plan right there.
And what does this plan establish in terms of compliance with the sections of the code that talk about the developer having to avoid stormwater runoff and things of that nature when disturbing the slopes?
Yeah, so because we have more than 5,000 square feet of disturbance on this site, we trigger PWD's URSA ENS plan. So this plan generally just shows what's going to happen during construction and the controls that will be in place, such as a rock construction entrance, soil stockpiling, inlet protection, things of that nature.
Did any particular city agency have any involvement in reviewing this particular plan?
Yes, PWD reviewed and approved this plan.
And is that conceptual approval shown at Exhibit 17?
Yes.
And following a conceptual approval, the Water Department would also do a technical review of this prior to a building permit. Is that correct?
Actually, we're less than 15,000 square feet of disturbance, so there's no required stormwater per PWD. So this is PWD's approval of this project.
Thank you. You actually just answered my next question, but just to make sure, is the project subject to any required or typical stormwater management requirement?
Not per PWD.
And why is that again?
Because we're less than 15,000 square feet of disturbance.
So to comply with the requirements of the zoning code as it pertains to steep slope disturbance, and as well to address community concerns, did Colliers prepare a stormwater management plan seeking to address some of those concerns?
Yes, we did.
And is that plan and findings summarized and shown here on the screen at Exhibit 20?
Correct, yes.
And just if you can summarize some of the highlights for the board.
Sure. So this plan shows the roof area being captured by roof drains running into yard drains that will have filters to collect sedimentation. And then ultimately that will discharge to a rain garden. And you can see the rain garden is that green area on the plan in the green space that we have on the project. This rain garden will manage the 2 through the 100-year increase in volume due to the additional impervious area. And then also the rain garden will have an outlet control structure, which will manage the rates coming off the site from the post-development conditions to the pre-development conditions.
And pre-development conditions versus post-development conditions. Will this development, based on this design, increase stormwater runoff to this site, from the site?
Without the rain garden, there would be an increase in runoff. With the rain garden, there will be no increase in runoff.
Based on your professional opinion, will the project cause any shifting of earth to adjacent buildings, either up or down slope?
No, and a developer will need to obtain their building permit, site work permits. There'll be on-site supervision and special inspections that have to occur.
And based on your professional opinion, in the scope of what you would have reviewed, do you believe that this development would cause an increase in the likelihood of loss of any adjoining properties?
No, same thing. Building permit, site work inspection, special inspections, site work permits will all be obtained during construction.
Thank you, Gabby. So just to summarize, board, we believe that the testimony that our architect presented, as well as our professional consultants and engineers today and during the first hearing, have conclusively and as a matter of law established that this lot suffers from a unique and unnecessary hardship that would foreclose the development of any construction on this lot whatsoever in the absence of variance relief. We believe that that evidence and the witnesses have established that the variance is the least minimum and is intended to disturb as little of the site as is possible. This is not the case where an alternative development might generate a different but less extreme variances. In this particular case, these are the absolute least minimum variances that are required in order to support any viable development of the site. Furthermore, in a review of available case law on the subject, and as referenced in the memo of law at Exhibit 21, courts have generally only upheld denials of steep slope variances where there was some evidence of another viable option. Here, we would submit that the evidence has shown that there is simply no other viable option. Like I said, I included the memo of law at Exhibit 21, and I'm also happy to submit my notes of testimony after the hearing for your file as well and for your additional review. Now, while my client fully respects the community's position and concerns, the fact remains that this particular developer met with the community 3 times over the course of nearly a year, including continuing the hearing originally scheduled way back in the winter in February to make further changes that were shown to the board during the last hearing. Now, as the community did acknowledge, changes were made, even though a vast majority of those changes had no bearing whatsoever on the steep slope variances, but were done in an attempt to try and find some level of common ground. Just for purposes of the record, we would respectfully ask this board to strike from the record a letter that was submitted yesterday on behalf of RCO Solo Germantown Civic that does not have geographic boundaries, including this property. In fact, its boundaries don't start for over a half a mile away after West Shelton Avenue. The letter was not submitted on an individual's behalf. It was actually submitted by an RCO purporting to take a position on the project for which it has no technical jurisdiction under planning's RCO rules. That note aside, we do submit that the evidence presented during the first hearing and today is unambiguous and clearly establishes this applicant's entitlement to relief, and we would respectfully ask for the board's approval. I would like to bring on my client to adopt my testimony, and I just have 2 questions for him.
Okay.
Nidal Hassan.
Nadal has been promoted.
Good morning, sir. Could you please state and spell your name for the stenographer?
Hello?
Hi, could you please state and spell your name for the stenographer?
Yeah, Nadal Hassan. First name Nadal, Nidal. Last name Hassan, Hassen.
Could you please turn on your video too, please? Do you swear
Yes.
or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Counsel?
Thank you. Nadal, have you heard all of the testimony and evidence that was offered first in the hearing in May and then as well today in front of the board?
Yes,
Do you agree that that testimony was true and accurate, and would you adopt it as if you had provided it to the board yourself?
I do.
Nadal, just very briefly, can you please explain how you intend to manage this particular property?
I have a management company that I use to for rentals, for TCS management. And then if we already have a stormwater agreement with Colliers. We've already signed the contract, so they would manage that as well for maintenance, overseeing that.
So just to emphasize what you just said, so Colliers would be managing the stormwater management system on this property?
Correct.
And do you have experience in construction in Philadelphia?
Yes, for like 8 years now.
And would you be intending to construct this building in accordance with all necessary and required engineering and building code standards?
Yes.
Thank you.
Questions from the board?
Can you explain just briefly the stormwater management system just one more time, and how that system will not increase any runoff from the existing site if the site is not developed?
Sure.
I'm sorry, Nadal. I'm going to have Gabby answer that question.
Yeah. I wanted to hear from the civil engineer.
Okay. No problem.
Sure. So a rain garden is essentially just a hole that the stormwater from the roof would be the roof discharge would discharge to the rain garden, which is essentially just a big hole, and then that holds back some of the water. And there's an outlet control structure that has various orifices and weirs that hold back water and will only release it at a rate that is consistent with the pre-developed conditions. And the water that's sitting in the rain garden, there's evapotranspiration and things like that occur.
And Gabby, a rain garden, this is a system that Colliers has designed and implemented for other projects before, correct?
Correct. It's a typical BMP used in Philadelphia.
And is there a green roof on the building at all, or no?
There is not.
Okay, so the rain garden and the stormwater management on site will effectively address all issues related to stormwater management and runoff.
Correct.
Okay.
Other questions?
Yes, and this system has been reviewed with the water department?
It's not required to be reviewed with the water department. Because we have less than 15,000 square feet of disturbance, PWD doesn't require stormwater.
So then this is done through what? How is this guaranteed? Or
Well, we can prepare an O&M agreement, which is an operations and maintenance agreement that we will provide to the developer that he can record with the city to maintain it.
all right. And then I guess all right. So this rain garden, how many gallons does it hold? Or
Gallons, let me give you some numbers here. So the existing runoff volume is 1,500 or 15,000 cubic feet approximately. And then the proposed runoff is 2,990 cubic feet. So there's a 1,500 roughly cubic foot difference in the amount of runoff that's going to be generated from the proposed building, essentially, because that's the impervious addition. So that rain garden is approximately 1,500, holds about 1,500 cubic feet of rainwater.
okay. And then you say it drains how?
It'll connect to an existing PWD sewer in Walnut Avenue.
Okay, all right. And then it drains, is there some sort of system in terms of how that drainage is controlled?
Correct.
So that, yeah.
Yeah.
So that you're not, like if there's a big storm, it's not like it's gonna overwhelm the system that's in place.
Correct. That's the exact point of the rain garden. So it'll maintain what's currently happening at the site.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Other questions?
Yeah, so just in quick summary, I know the building height has been reduced, correct?
That's correct. So let me just show you the summary form. So the roof height was reduced from 39 feet 8 inches to 37 feet 4 inches. Main roof parapet was reduced from 44 feet 2 inches to 41 feet 10 inches.
And is this still a roof deck proposed or that's gone too?
There is a roof deck. The locations and dimensions of the pilot house were revised. Let me bring that up.
And where is that?
Yeah, sorry. So you can see it's a fairly small roof deck. It does not cover nearly the entire building. It's just a small roof deck, basically right up at the front along Walnut and Wissahickon Avenue. And you can see it does meet all of the setbacks, including an additional setback on the side next to the neighboring property. So there's about a 10-foot distance from the roof deck to the neighboring property along Wissahickon Avenue.
Okay, and I think then the commercial on the first floor has been removed as well?
Correct.
So that's going to be a unit now?
That is correct. The commercial was removed really in response to discussions with the community that didn't feel that commercial was appropriate here.
Gotcha, thank you.
Any other questions? Questions or comments from our attorney?
Not at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Questions or comments from the virtual audience? Well, we're going to start right here. Sir, could you please state and spell your name?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Sidney Ozer, Sidney.
Right.
Last name Ozer, O-Z like zebra, E-R like Robert.
Right.
And I'm a member of the board of the Whole Civic Association.
Right. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And you have sent us correspondence, am I
Yes, we
correct?
have.
Okay, so you could summarize the correspondence, but you have 2 minutes because
Okay.
we have other people who want to
I
testify.
appreciate it.
Sure,
Thank you so
sure.
much, Mr. Chairman and Board. Working with Meredith and Nidal, we did come to agreement on many issues. However, we did not come to agreement on a very, very important issue, that being the building height. We mentioned that. Also, we have questions about the responsibility of the builder that we'll address. And the developer submitted ground floor plus 4 stories without notifying the community, which is different than what we had thought we had negotiated. So, and it seems that the midpoint that they're using for the height may have been changed as well. So let me just summarize here that our community supports responsible, environmentally sustainable development, but we have questions about the height. It's not in scale with the neighborhood. We have questions about the hardship. The developer and affiliate have 8 years of working in Philadelphia. Right now, they have 7 other development sites in Northwest and North Philadelphia that they're working with. So they should have been familiar with the area. The developer and the affiliates have many L&I violations in the city, including utilizing a contractor for demolition excavation whose license was revoked. Regarding the man-made nature of the hill, for lack of a better word, neighbors have lived here for generations, and some of our senior neighbors do not recall any removal in their lifetimes or in their families' lifetimes. The developer did not remove weeds at the site for months until we called CLIP. The developer promised to prepare a dangerous sidewalk of the property and has never done that. And this indicates the responsibility or lack thereof of the developer. An adjacent nonprofit child care center requested discussions with the developer Obviously, their children and their staff would be at risk if there was a problem with the excavation. The developer never contacted that child care center organization. The partner, RCO 21st Ward Democrats, requested discussions with the developer about the safety of the removal, and they were never reached out to by the developer as well. And the following organizations also do not support the development as proposed and have submitted letters, in addition to near neighbors in the Blue Hill community. That would be Historic Rittenhouse Town, Delaware River Keepers, 21st Ward Dems, State Representative Robb, and Councilmember Jones. So therefore, Bluebell Hill Civic kindly requests that you not support the development as proposed.
All right, you have any questions?
Just one. Mr. Ozer, you made allegations about the developer having received many violations on other development sites. Do you have any proof that it's this developer? Do
Well,
you have any
these are
documentation to
These are
provide?
Thank you, Council. These are affiliated companies with the same address in Astoria, Queens, that this developer used.
Right.
And the NDH, the same initials, is one of the developers' LLCs.
Do you
Also, can I point out, Council, if you'll excuse me, the PWD.
Wait,
Okay.
let her answer first.
My question was, do you have any documentation?
We have the L&I names of the developer and the address being the same address in Astoria, Queens, or Milford, Pennsylvania.
But so I have one question. You did start off by saying you came to agreement with many things about them, and
That's
then you
exactly
went on,
right.
right? So you came to agreement on many things, except the height, but the
Except the
height,
height.
let's me.
Yes.
But the height's not an issue here, right?
It is not, Mr. Chairman.
That's right, okay. All right.
But the rainwater, care of the rainwater retention basin is a very important thing, and we're very worried about the responsibility of this contractor,
Okay.
particularly in view of their history.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Why don't we do this? Let's see how many other people want to testify, then we come to questions. How many people want to testify? Why don't we start over here? Good morning. Could you please state and spell your name?
My name is Laura Morris, Laura. Last name Morris, Morris.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Are you a neighbor?
I'm a near neighbor.
Please proceed.
I reside at 609 West Naomi Street. My property is one parcel over from the construction. I submitted testimony for you all, as well as a video, but I'm not sure if the video was able to be uploaded because I don't know how that works, and I tried my best. If you look at 609 West Naomi Street, thank you, council, you'll see that, and if you pull up the water, if you still have the water drains, you'll see that I have drains in my backyard. I took a video of the property, which I've dated in my testimony to you all, which shows that there is significant earth that will be moved during construction, and I'm very concerned about my yard.
Okay.
And I think that's really it in summary.
Well,
You can read my testimony. I thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you very much for being so precise and
I
quick.
look for this.
Next person. Good morning. Could you please state and spell your name for the stenographer?
My name is Mary Louise Friedberger, Marylouis, all one word. Friedberger, Friedberger.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please proceed. And your neighbor?
I am a neighbor.
Please
I have
proceed.
lived in 617 Naomi Street, which is
Yep, I know where it is.
right for greater than 50 years. The only building that was built on Wissahickon Avenue is the building that is now the school. All the other buildings have entrances on Wissahickon Avenue. Walnut Lane has no building entrance on that side.
Okay.
Because of the slope. The slope is not a man-made slope. It is a slope from Walnut Lane, where I enter the back of my house, I have to go up at least 10 steps. All the other houses are the same. That are 3 houses that have entrances from Walnut Lane into their front entrance, which is on Naomi.
Okay. And you're against this? All right, thank you very much for your testimony. Is there anyone else here? Yes, sir. Good morning. Hi, could you please state and spell your name for the stenographer?
Daniel Spicer, SPICER.
Right, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Are you a neighbor?
I am a neighbor and I am a officer of the Bluebell Hill Civic.
Sure,
Association.
why don't you tell us where you stand on this project?
So I'm opposed. The steep slope in question is an old rock formation, hundreds of millions of years old. It's the geology of the Wissahickon is noted for its ancient rock history, which is what this steep slope is part of. We had meetings, as was stated, with the engineering teams, both Colliers and the Leak Engineering. At the first meeting with the Colliers Engineering, they stated, and I submitted the exhibits as well for their letter, and this is from the Colliers letter. The intent of steep slope requirements are generally intended to preserve natural slopes. However, the site is surrounded by impervious surfaces, including structures and roadways, which indicate that the steep slopes are man-made and therefore can be disturbed. Now, this was quickly debunked by engineers of our civic association as being not sufficient and that a core sample would need to be taken to determine the composition of the site, which was done by Leak Engineering, who submitted.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and this is from the Leak Engineering report. The subsurface investigation identified the following stratigraphic layers at the project site. Stratum 1, brown medium fine sand extending to a depth of 2 feet below grade. Stratum 2, comprised of decomposed mica schist encountered 2 to 8 feet below grade, which is as deep as they went. So 2 to 8 feet below grade. They confirmed in their engineering report that it is indeed mica schist, very old, 100 millions of years old rock formation.
Okay. One quick question for you. Then I see the Friends of the Wissahickon are in favor. Well, I'm asking him.
I don't know.
I thought I saw a letter from the Friends of the Wissahickon.
I don't know.
Okay, all right, thank you.
May I respond to that question?
One of you, go ahead. Two minutes
Hi.
now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Sidney Ozer here again. The Friends of the Wissahickon did not oppose the development, but they did question the responsibility of the developer.
All right. Thank you very much.
Also, one other thing, I want to let you know.
We're done. We're done.
Okay,
We're
thank
done. Thank you. Is there anyone else here? All right. Is there anyone else after that? All right, we're going to have to start moving this. Hi, could you please state and spell your name for the stenographer?
Certainly. Isabel Pilling, ISABEL PILLING.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Are you a neighbor?
I am a neighbor.
Are you in favor or against this?
I am opposed.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
So as briefly as I can, I am a retired science teacher, environmental educator, an environmental researcher who is also on the board of Bluebell Hill Civic Association. And I just want to share I submitted a letter.
We have the letter. We have your letter.
I just want to share the last statement that City of Philadelphia's zoning code provides the opportunity to enforce sustainable decisions in the Wissahickon watershed, which is what this is. It is imperative that the code be followed for the health of the people of Philadelphia and the watershed. The runoff from this property goes to the Montashonee, which goes to the Wissahickon, which goes to the Schuylkill River, which is immediately upstream of the Queen Lane Reservoir intake. So it goes directly to our drinking water. To a casual observer, the property is steep. The steep slope zoning overlay was knowable in advance. If someone purchased a known wetland at sheriff's sale, surely the city would prevent them from building on it if the zoning dictated it. How is this site different?
Okay.
And then the only other comment I have is that the approval from the water department is a preliminary approval, and it's unfortunate that they're not required to weigh in about the stormwater runoff solutions. They have invested significant money in the restoration of the Montashonee watershed. including a artificial wetland on
Okay.
the other side of Lincoln Drive that is significant.
Thank you very much for coming in. We appreciate it. One more here.
Thank you for hearing us.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chair, can I just respond to one
You
point?
most certainly can.
Just in terms of her point that the developer would have had knowledge of the steep slopes, there is a case in my memo of law, the Solberry Township case, where the court specifically held that the property owner's knowledge that the property was burdened by steep slopes does not preclude the board from granting a variance due to hardship of those conditions.
Thank you. Ma'am? Hi, good morning. Hi, could you please state and spell your name for the stenographer?
Carolyn Dixon, CarolynDixon.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Are you a neighbor?
I'm a neighbor.
All right. Are you in favor of this or against?
Again.
And if there's anything, wait a minute before you do it. Don't, now listen to me.
Just
We heard a lot. Is there anything different than what you've said?
I believe it's brief and it's important that since 1956, I grew up there.
Yeah, I understand.
There was a small trail.
Why don't you stay close to the mic?
Small trail off of Walnut Lane that reached Wissahickon, and the kids in the neighborhood always took that shortcut.
Sure.
That hill has not changed since 1956.
Okay.
So I don't know
So
what they're
you're,
saying is.
so you're against this. Thank you for taking the time to come down here. We appreciate it. Is there anyone in the virtual audience?
Yes, I have a calling user with the last four numbers ending in 4475, and another hand just went up, but that first one will be allowed to speak.
Good morning.
Oh, good afternoon, board. My name is Salvatore Sandone, Salvatore, Sandone.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Are you a neighbor?
Yes, we
Are
are
you for,
the
you listen to
adjacent
me,
property
listen to me. Are you for or against this project?
against the project.
Okay, is there anything different than what we've heard from 6 or 7 people here?
I'm not exactly sure, but I'll be brief. We're the adjacent property. We occupy 6110 Wissahickon Avenue. We own the building here. We've been here since 2012, and we run the only martial arts childcare program in the United States out of this building.
Yep.
We have children in the building from the ages of 3 and up every day. And since we began conversations with the developer in the community meetings, we have continually requested an audience with the developer to discuss our safety concerns about what would it be like during construction for these
Okay.
children, because there's a large yard in the back of our building that is adjacent to the site. And for those reasons, we oppose the development for the safety concerns about what would happen in the process.
All right, thank you very much for taking the time to call us. Next hand, please.
Next hand is Tony Flanagan.
Hi, could you please state and spell your name for the stenographer?
He's being promoted now.
Sorry, Tony, Toni, Flanagan, Flanigan.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Are you a neighbor?
yes,
Are you for or against this project?
against,
Okay, is there anything different that you can offer?
yes.
But
It's just
what-
one paragraph.
Go ahead.
Okay. The construction of this brick modernist apartment is a scar to our entrance. It is a building best suited for retail commercial corridor. So what's the message? What are we entering here? It is not appropriate for a historic, charming neighborhood embedded in the Fairmount Park. We already have previously built apartment buildings that are not architecturally relevant to the spirit of the neighborhood, but they are much smaller in scale and set back from the street with generous lawns, parking, and landscape. None of
Okay.
these buildings are as abrupt as this building, which is placed right on the sidewalk on the corner of Bluebell Hill. I want construction of this entrance of Bluebell Hill to lift the integrity of the neighborhood, not bring it down just because the developer wants to fit 16 apartments in a
Okay.
very tiny area. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience?
No more hands.
Planning Commission?
Amy Boyd with the Planning Commission. The comprehensive plan recommends no change in zoning at this location to the existing CMX1 commercial mixed use. As presented, the proposed steep slope disturbance is not the least minimum. The Planning Commission recommends that the board deny the requested variance for steep slopes.
Okay. So obviously, we've had a great deal of testimony, a great deal of written issues both ways. We will vote on this next Wednesday at 9:30 on the 26th, and we will take this in our executive session and discuss it among the board. But this case is closed.
Understood.
All
I'll
right,
submit
thank you.
notes of testimony after the hearing as well.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Number 6.
Thanks, Sydney.
Thank you. Number 6, MI 2026 000809 4112 Peachin Street. Alan Nachemson is the attorney. I see Mr. Goldberg is here. And we also have with us Daniel McElhatton as the attorney for the protestants. Yeah. Who else is here? What's that? I don't, is this? No, that's not L5, right? Is it? No, I think he's the next one. Oh, yeah, so it's now.
We're gonna switch seats. That's all right with the chair.
That's fine with me. That's-
I speak faster on this side.
Well, that's that, you could sit up here if you go that fast.
I'll do the old FedEx.
Yeah. Must have been a politician. Okay. Right, so let me start with Mr. Goldberg. Where we are with this is, I think you initially had 5 witnesses. You were going to have 5 witnesses, am I correct? And you were on the second? Does that sound right?
That is correct.
All right, and so you're going to finish up with your presentation, right? And then pardon me? Well, I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. How many people do you have to do?
So, can you hear me okay? I have three expert witnesses, plus my client just to adopt my testimony. Would you like opposing counsel to cross in between them or at the conclusion?
Well,
Because, I'd like.
let's see, what's your thoughts on that, Dan?
Let's see how the witness goes. I may not have any questions for a particular
Right,
witness.
right, okay.
So take one at a time and we'll see where.
So why don't?
that they wouldn't have to come
do-
back. That's what I-
Do me a favor, why don't you, I already swore you in, right?
Yes.
Right. Just state your name for the record.
Alex Goldberg.
Right. And if you would, talk to us about how we got here, right? And then start your presentation.
I will do that. Join as a panelist. Okay. Good morning, members of the board. Before calling my witness to be sworn, I'd like to give a brief summary of the case and the testimony provided at the last hearing on June 6th. The application seeks the approval of a planned unit development consisting of 10 single-family homes on a parcel slightly over 15,500 square feet in the Roxborough neighborhood of Philadelphia. What the board reviewed on June 6th and will review again today is the third substantially different iteration of this development proposal, which started at 36 apartment units and 25 parking spaces, 30 apartment units and 25 parking spaces, then 30 condo units and 25 parking spaces, then 26 condo units and 26 parking spaces, and now finally 10 single-family homes with 2-car parking each for a total of 20 parking spaces. This is the least modification possible under the zoning code, and we intend to show that by way of additional testimony provided by project architect Scott Woodruff and new expert testimony from real estate professional John Featherman, general contractor Mike Gargiulo, and owner's representative Tim Townhill sitting behind me. After removing a variance request for building height by way of revised plans, we are seeking just 3 variances and 1 special exception. The first is the steep slope refusal. In his June 6th testimony, architect Scott Woodruff confirmed that we can never have a by right option simply because the steep slope issues on the site. The portions of slope 25% of grade or more on the site are along the property lines, which has to be modified. Otherwise, we would be prohibited from trenching any utility lines or doing any earth moving activities at the front and back of the site. Additionally, Scott pointed out that there is a spine of sloped land beyond 25% grade running down the center of the site, right where the building structure is proposed. The project was designed to minimize impacts and site developments along the street frontages. Second on the notice of refusal is a special exception for the removal of 2 heritage trees. The board was presented with an urban forest review and investigation performed by Rockwell Associates. The report stated that there are 28 trees on the site, 21 of which are in poor condition. 2 of those trees are designated as heritage trees. The board was shown a topographic survey showing the location of the 2 heritage trees, one in the right corner of the site near Peachin Street and one in the center of the site. One of the heritage trees is listed as being in poor condition, and both trees are located in positions on the site that would make development impossible without removing them. 16 new trees will be planted on the site as part of the development plan. The third refusal, which we didn't get to last time, is the requirement for a van-accessible parking space. You'll hear Scott Woodruff testify about why providing single van-accessible parking space is both infeasible and impractical. The fourth refusal for multifamily living is technical in nature because if approved, a declaration of planned community will be executed and recorded, turning the multifamily living into 10 single-family homes each. For reference, this site could fit 8 RSA 5 lot size and lot width compliant parcels, obviously not including several of the dimensional, parking, and site development related refusals, which again are unavoidable. With that, I would like to call Scott Woodruff to be sworn.
Sure. Scott?
Is he in person or is he
In the virtual audience.
virtual?
God has been promoted.
Good morning, sir. Could you please state and spell your name for the stenographer?
Yes, Scott Woodruff, SCOTTWOODRUFF.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Counsel?
Hi, Scott. I'm sharing on my screen a plan that is included in our presentation materials. Are you able to see it?
Yes.
Okay. And can you describe what I've zoomed in on the left side of this plan?
Yes, this is a by right scheme showing 8 single-family homes and subdivided lots that comply with RSA standards for subdivision.
Okay, and when you say by right, does that include potential refusals for removal of heritage trees or parking?
That does not.
Okay, so is it your expert opinion that even this version of the plan, which does not propose parking, just 4 homes on Peachin and 4 homes on Lauriston, that would not be permissible as of right under the zoning code?
That is correct.
If we wanted to add parking to this plan, how would that work?
So if we were to add parking, we would need to create curb cuts along Peachin and Larston for front-loaded garages, which are prohibited by the zoning code, and also disturbing more of the steep slope even past what is being shown.
Okay. And can you describe the site work required for this version of the plan and how it differs from the site work, required of the plan unit development design with the lone curb on Peachin Street?
Absolutely. So this development has 4 homes that are directly against both of the abutting property lines, which is permitted. This would obviously cause a little more site disturbance as well as shoring, excavation required along adjoining properties, which is vastly different from the proposed, which limits development to the center of the site to limit some of the disturbance along both of those lot lines. This would also, if we were to invoke parking into this, also cause additional curb cuts within the street, and disturbance along more of the steep slope areas at both sides of the property.
Are there additional costs in this version of the plan as well?
Yes, there would be additional costs for excavation, shoring, and site management.
Okay. In this version of the plan, are the heritage trees, the 2 heritage trees in locations such that they could remain on the site under this version of the plan?
They're both in positions that would be problematic and not possible to create this.
Okay. Scott, I'm going to now go to the floor plans, which I think are most helpful for my next questions for you, which have to do with the requirement for the van accessible parking space. Can you explain to the board why a van accessible parking space was not provided in the plan?
So van accessible parking spaces are primarily for multifamily projects to provide ADA accessibility to those multifamily buildings. They're not required in single family homes per the zoning code. We would need to provide a 8-foot parking stall with an 8-foot clear space for that van accessible space to be properly used. It also needs an 8-foot clear height, which is a large amount of space, which would increase our garage height and add to one of the height refusals, or just the height in general to the project, which was a primary concern going through this process.
Okay. So am I understanding correctly that if we were proposing 10 single family homes with 2 car parking each, which is what's being proposed here on one lot, but if we were on 10 individual lots that were attached like a typical Philadelphia row home street, would this code provision requiring van accessible parking apply to them?
It would not apply.
Okay, so again, why does it apply here?
It applies for the technical nature of the refusal, being multifamily 10 units on one lot, which will eventually be subdivided in a plain unit development, turning this into single families.
Okay. Thanks, Scott. That's all I have for Scott.
May I? I think it'd be easier if I just get rid of this witness.
Yeah.
Can we put up the, no, the plan has the building shown on Peachin. The actual building.
Is that the zoning plan?
Yeah. Scott, the proposed 8 units that you were discussing, were they separate entrance from Peachin and separate entrance from Lauriston, correct? That would
Correct.
require that. So there'd be two curb cuts as opposed to 1, as proposed in your development now, correct?
Each single family home would need its own curb cuts to provide parking. So there would be 8 total curb cuts if parking were to be provided.
Could you have not developed a plan where you'd have 8 units that are parallel to Lauriston or parallel to Peachin and have access to a parking area or a driveway behind those. Is that correct?
You're asking if we develop two less units and provide a shared parking? I just want to
Access.
clarify the question.
Provided access to the garages from the rear.
There would be challenges with how the slope works for those buildings because the grading would have to be raised up. There'd be a large driveway slope to get to the rear of the site, which would have to be either we have a large surface parking lot in the rear of those homes, or we would have to be parking on the second or third level of those homes based on the grade changes that would occur.
And the proposal here is for 10 units that will run perpendicular to Lauriston and Peachin, correct?
That is correct.
And that is, are the homes on Lauriston and Peachin, do they front on those streets?
They do. They have access from both of those street frontages.
And so this proposal is inconsistent with the uses and the characteristics of the community, both on Peachin and on Lauriston, correct?
We've provided facades that blend in with some of the surrounding context, providing porches to this and front entryways. So I would argue that they blend into some of the surrounding context.
Well, the porches face the house on Lauriston that was adjacent to your twin, correct? They don't
Both
face-
porches face the street frontage, Peachin and Larson.
Those porches face there?
Mhm.
Don't they face the yard of the other house on Peachin?
Alex, maybe go to the rendering. It might be more clear. Cancel.
Want the rendering or do you want elevations?
Whatever he can point to that would show that those houses face Lauriston and Peachin, consistent with the other homes that are already on there.
So the top image, which is the southwest perspective, that's Larson Street to the left. You can see there's a porch that fronts the entire street frontage of that. We want to go to the other perspective to show the Peachin Street side. Again, it's a little bit clearer in the actual renderings. But yeah, you're kind of getting to it. Yeah, so you can see there's a large porch that fronts
Right.
Peachin Street.
But all the homes behind that, if you go back to the other one, all the homes behind that, the front of those homes face the backyard of the other house on Peachin Street.
That is correct.
Okay. And how far out does the front of this unit with the porch that you have described there, how much further out toward Peachin Street does that go compared to the adjacent house?
Zoom in. So our front building face is set back, as you can see there, 17 feet, 1¼ of an inch. Roughly 5 feet in front of the adjoining the old twin at 4114 Peachin Street. And then the porch comes out another, I don't know, there's a dimension somewhere on there. I'm just missing it right now. Another 5 feet. Now, the intent in providing the house to be a little bit further is that the house to the southern plan side is directly on the street. So this is set somewhat into the middle of both sides. As you can see, 4104 Peachin is directly against the street frontage. So we felt we're setting back a good amount, but also somewhat in line with some of the existing character on Peachin Street.
But inconsistent with the direct next door neighbor.
Correct.
Okay. I have nothing further.
Next person, please.
John Featherman, if you could raise your virtual hand.
I do have, I'm sorry, may I, Scott? How many square
Sure.
feet are proposed for each of these units?
Alex, do you have that number?
The occupied area of the entire site, of the entire building structure is 7,700. So hold on one second.
I thought I saw in your plans that it had a 960 square foot for each of the units.
That would be the footprint.
Okay. And doesn't the RSA 5 in Council District 4 require 1,440 square feet?
That's specifically to the lot area for a subdivided lot.
I'm sorry, what do you mean by that?
The 1,440 square feet is required to subdivide a single RSA lot of land area, not necessarily building square footage.
So each of these will be less than the required RSA 5 because they are a planned unit development?
We're not proposing a subdivision.
No.
So the lot is staying 15,518 square feet.
If you were to divide that number by the 1,440, you would get 10 lots.
Okay. All right, fine. Thank you. I have nothing else, sir.
Next,
Sure.
next witness, please.
Yeah, John Featherman. And while John is, I guess, being promoted, John is a licensed real estate professional. He's drafted and we've submitted a report regarding the marketability of an 8, a 9, and a 10 unit version of the planned unit development that we've proposed. So he's going to speak briefly about his report, and then I'm going to ask him some questions, and then obviously Dan has questions.
John Featherman, you're allowed to speak.
Great. John, John, Featherman.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Counsel.
John, I think I would say now's your opportunity to sort of give your brief statement about your report, and then I'll ask you some questions.
Great. Okay. So I am a licensed Pennsylvania associate broker, and I'm also a Pennsylvania licensed real estate instructor at Temple University. My role here is very narrow. It's to address the market consequences of reducing the number of residences at 4112 Petchin Street. My conclusion is that 10 units are the minimum market supportable configuration based on the information I've reviewed. We have a developer and contractor model comparing all 3 scenarios: 10 homes, 9 homes, and 8 homes. With 10 homes, the model assumes about 2,000 square feet per home and an average sales price of $775,000. Gross revenue would be $7.75 million. Projected cost would be about $6.64 million, leaving a projected profit of about $1.11 million. With 9 homes, the homes become larger, about 2,500 square feet, and the assumed sales price jumps to $950,000 each. That produces $8.55 million in gross revenue, which is actually $800,000 more revenue than the 10-home plan. But the projected profit falls to about $289,000, which is about 3.4% of the gross revenue. The developer's concern here is straightforward. A cost overrun, delay, concession, weaker sale price, or other project problem could erase that relatively small cushion. And with 8 homes, the model assumes 3,200 square foot homes selling for about $1 million each. And despite $8 million in gross revenue, the model projects a loss of approximately $1.13 million. So progression is important. Roughly $1.11 million of projected profit at 10 homes, only $289,000 at 9 homes, and a $1.13 million projected loss at 10 homes. The issue is about depth of demand here. The project doesn't need one premium buyer. It needs enough buyers to absorb all of the homes at the prices required to make the project work. All 3 pieces point in the same direction. The contractor says fewer homes spread difficult site costs among fewer units. The financial model shows the margin collapsing at 9 homes and becoming a loss at 8. And the MLS evidence shows greater market resistance at the higher prices those alternates require. Based on my experience in the Philadelphia residential market, my familiarity with Roxborough and Manayunk, and my review of the plans, MLS evidence, contractor feasibility statement, and revised developer model, it's my professional opinion that 10 units are the minimum market supportable configuration for this project. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are you done?
I'm going to ask him a few questions. Sure. John, the MLS reports and the data that you reviewed, are these the same reports and data that is available to the general public?
No, so they're not. Bright MLS is our professional multiple listing database that we use as real estate agents. It contains detailed listing and transaction information, including listing histories that generally are not available on consumer websites, including sites like Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com.
Okay. So where does a home have to sell for just for the developer to break even here?
For the developer to break even, it's got to sell at probably about 775,000, 800,000, somewhere in that range.
Okay, and where does the 664,000 break even point for 10 homes sit relative to the market?
So that would give it considerably more room. For example, one of the items I put in the report, 151 Levering, sold for $799,990 after 40 days. So the 10 home break even is more than 130,000 below that actual closing.
Okay. Is there evidence that the market has supported an 8 home break even of approximately $1.141 million?
Can you say that again? I couldn't hear.
Is there evidence that the market has supported the 8 home break even point of approximately $1.14 million?
Not in the properties that I reviewed on the MLS. The most relevant one, let me look here, is 268 DuPont. It started 1.15 million and did not sell at that price.
And what happened there?
So that's new construction. Let me just check. It's 3212 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3-car parking. It was originally listed at 1.15 million, was reduced by 301,000 to 849,000, and was still unsold when I reviewed it yesterday.
Okay, a couple more questions here for you, John. You spoke about sort of the razor thin margin on the 9 home plan. How common is a $32,000 concession on a home, sold for what he'd need to sell it for, about $950K?
So I want to be careful here because 32,000 is about 3.4% of 950,000. And mathematically, a concession of that amount on each home would wipe away the projected profit. But I haven't done a separate study showing how frequently buyers receive concessions of that size. So I don't want to characterize it as routine without data.
But what kind of concessions do buyers typically ask for?
So in my experience, they ask for things such as closing cost assistance, rate buy downs, finished credits or repairs. I can speak from my brokerage experience, but I don't have statistical studies showing how frequently each one occurs.
Okay. Last question for you. What happens when absorption, the sale of these properties, takes longer than expected?
So generally, the property remains exposed to carrying costs like financing, taxes, insurance, marketing. Longer exposure can also result in price reductions. So I would say that it's going to hurt.
Okay, and those things you described could also very easily wipe away the razor thin margin of the 9 home plan, correct?
It could, and realistically, it often does. That's a theoretical profit, but the reality is, these concessions happen, supply and demand changes, etc.
Okay. And last question, is there anything in the record that's inconsistent with your conclusion?
Well, yeah, there's evidence. A home theoretically can sell over $1 million. And I think it's really important to acknowledge that. One Wingard, for example, which I have here, sold for $900,000 after 62 days. And I consider that rather than ignoring it. But when I look at all the evidence together, including the longer market times, the substantial reductions at 268 DuPont, which I just spoke about, I still reached the same conclusion.
All right, thank you, John.
May I, Mr.
Yes,
Chair?
sir.
Mr. Featherman, where is your office located?
Yeah, so my office is located in Center City, Philadelphia, on 19th Street between Sansom and Chestnut Street.
And when was the last time you sold a property in the Roxborough area?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I've sold
and
over
you-
I sold over 2,000 I've sold or rented over 2,000 properties in my career, so I don't remember.
And in this matter, you were engaged as an expert witness, correct?
Yes,
And you've been paid by the developer or someone on his behalf,
I haven't been paid by anybody yet.
but you will invoice them for your services, correct?
Yes, yes.
And when did you meet with anyone from the community, from Central Roxborough Community Association?
I did not meet with anybody. That was not within my scope.
Okay. Did you think it was important to possibly meet with the neighbors who might be impacted by this development?
That was not within my scope.
But the financial aspects were within your scope, correct?
Yes,
And you've outlined the potential dangers to the developer of a project of less than 10 units, correct?
I've made them aware of what the numbers are. I'm not going to call any of it dangerous.
And the financial risk that's involved, that's the only hardship you see, correct?
Again, what I did was I presented an analysis that looked at selling 10 units, 9 units, and 8 units.
And that's without respect to the configuration of those proposed units.
What do you mean by that?
Well, how they're laid out on the site, or different proposals for laying out.
No, so I mean that's not true. As I mentioned before, if you're going to have 8 units, 9 units, or 10 units, you're going to have different square footages. The 10-unit ones are going to be smaller, and the 8-unit ones are going to be bigger. I just gave that square footage.
All right, thank you. I have nothing further, Mr. Featherman.
Thank you.
Your next witness.
Yep, Mike Gargiulo of the Howe Group. He's the general contractor for the project. And he prepared a brief feasibility statement, which I submitted to the board, which is on the screen.
Promoting, Mike is rejoining now.
Thank you. Mike?
Yes, sir.
Hi, sir, could you please state your name and spell for the stenographer?
Yes, Mike Gargiulo, Mike, last name Gargiulo.
Right, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Counsel?
Mike, can you describe your background and experience in residential and multifamily construction in Philadelphia?
Yep, I work with the Howe Group. We're a vertically integrated real estate development, construction, and property management company in the city for over 25 years.
And were you asked to provide a construction feasibility assessment for the proposed development here?
Yes, I was asked to give a high-level construction feasibility perspective, and I reviewed the zoning and the site plan.
Okay. And how would you describe the physical characteristics of the site from a construction standpoint?
It appears to be a constrained urban site that has grade changes, multiple retaining walls, drive aisle conditions, foundations, and some access constraints.
And what kind of challenges for construction do those constraints cause?
Yeah, it causes more excavation, complicated foundations. The retaining walls require coordination with engineers, drainage issues, waterproofing, etc.
And what does all this mean for cost?
Means there's a lot of fixed costs that are directly related to the site conditions.
Okay. And would a subdivision that proposed 4 homes on Peachin and 4 homes on Lauriston, the same sort of theoretical plan I showed earlier in my presentation, would that create more or less site development complications and expenses?
Hard to know at this point, but probably pretty close to what's actually there today. You're still doing a lot of the work that's underground, whether you're building 10, 9, or 8 houses.
Okay. But if we were developing the backside and we had 4 homes parallel to Peachin and 4 homes parallel to Lauriston on that sort of plan, does that, because of the site, does that propose additional costs and complications rather than this perpendicular PUD development that we presented to the board?
No, it still requires most of the same things that are required under the perpendicular plan as the other plan with the houses facing Etchen and Marshall.
And these fixed site costs, would they reduce if we went from 10 to 9 or 8 homes?
Not necessarily.
That's all I have for Mike.
I have no questions of this witness.
Is that the end of your,
Yeah, if I could just have my client adopt my testimony.
sure?
Pull your chair up.
Good morning, sir. Could you please state your name and spell for the stenographer?
All right, Timothy Townhill.
Why don't you get a little closer to the mic?
Timothy Townhill, TimothyTownhill.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Counsel?
Tim, did you hear my testimony today?
I did.
Was it true and correct?
It was, yes.
And do you adopt it as your own?
I do.
And do you adopt the testimony of your expert witnesses as your own as well?
I do.
Right.
No questions.
How long do you think your presentation will be, Dan?
Could be 45 minutes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I just have a question
For who?
for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like, according to our notes, that Shannon Park testified earlier.
She did. She's available. I asked her to come today in case opposing counsel had questions for her, but I had no additional questions for her.
That
today.
was going to be my question. Did you want to have, she testified in the last hearing. I wasn't sure if you had any questions.
Thank you
her.
for asking, but I would be as brief with her as I was with Mr.
Okay.
Cal.
Just want to make sure the record was clear. Okay, thank
So
you.
you're going to be 45 minutes.
I expect it would
Right.
be
How many witnesses are you going to call, Dan?
six or seven.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to have to do a resumptive hearing because I see there's people in the audience too. Am I correct?
Yes.
Right. So, yeah, I don't want to start and then you get
No, I-
halfway through. So, I think our resumptive date will be in 9:15. Does that sound right?
That's correct, Chair. Tuesday, September 15th
Yeah,
at 9:30 a.m.
26 at 9:30 a.m.
I'm sorry, 9:15.
9:15, right, at 9:30 a.m. And then I think that way, I don't want to break and then have to bring you back, and that way you have a fresh, and we should be able to finish your presentation up that day.
I
okay?
appreciate that.
All right. Okay? All right, everybody. Thank
Madam
you very
Speak-
much. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we're going to come back, and you're back with us, right? So why don't you just stay right there?
Oh, you got another one?
MI 2026, MI 2026 001 455, 6930 Arlette Street. This is an appeal against L&I. Attorney is David Orphanides. Also here is Leonard Reuter and Alan Nachumsen's firm, Mr. Goldberg. David, could you first state your name and spell it for the stenographer?
Certainly. My name is David Orphanides. Last name is spelled Orphanides.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Mr. Goldberg, you've been here several times today. Leonard, could you please state your name and spell it for the stenographer?
Sure. May it please the board, Leonard F. Reuter, R-E-U-T-E-R, Senior Attorney, City of Philadelphia.
Right. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
David, we're going to start with you.
Okay, certainly.
David, how long do you think your presentation will take?
Probably.
That's
Come on now.
Why don't you do this? Why don't you answer? Listen, why don't you answer?
It's for me, it's
listen to
against me, but it's.
Listen to me.
Yes.
Why don't you answer me without taking that deep breath?
Yeah,
There you go.
certainly. I think I can be through, I have one witness, one expert witness, and one or two witnesses from the neighborhood just to corroborate some conditions that he speaks about. So I don't think I'll be more than an hour, might be 45 minutes.
Okay, well, let's start and see where we stand.
Okay.
And this is about L and I, right? It's the appeal against L and I.
This is appeal against L&I, appeal of a zoning permit that was issued for
Right.
6930 Ardley
Right,
Street.
right, but it's
So-
around L and I, right? So what would,
So
what would the
I'm
neighbors
gonna-
be a witness for?
I'm gonna boil it down. So what this is we are, this property, 6930 Ardley Street, is bound by two properties, Ardley and East Sedgwick Street.
Yeah.
All right. In the Planning Commission's review of the zoning permit application, they designated Ardley Street as a primary frontage. And that's important because under the zoning code, and we're going to talk about this, since the property was zoned RM1 at the time, if one frontage, not both front, because it's possible to designate both frontages as primary, but if one is designated as the primary frontage, the front yard requirements for RM1 do not apply to the other frontage because every street frontage is deemed a front, right? So because of that determination, the developer, Mr. Goldberg client, was able to secure a zoning permit for an addition, not only to the rear of the property towards a rear shared drive into the rear yard area, but all the way out to the property line at East Sedgwick Street. And it's our position that the Planning Commission, and that if it turns out that there's only one primary frontage and that primary frontage is Ardley Street, then that's permitted. There's no question about that. It's our position that the Planning Commission, with all due respect, made an error and designating only Ardley Street as a primary frontage, and that they should have designated both streets, both frontages as primary frontage. And then because of the rules applicable in RM1 regarding front yard setback, that you can't be any closer or further away from the property line than the adjacent properties, not abutting properties, but adjacent properties. That they would have had to have maintained at least a setback, approximately, or a setback that existed at the building as it presently exists, and could not build an addition all the way out to Sedgwick Street.
So being that we're saying, laying the groundwork out,
Yeah.
Mr. Goldberg, do you have comments?
Sure, yeah. You hear me okay? Sorry, Len.
And I just was laying out what the basic issue.
Yeah,
is.
I understand. Well, I think the basic
I'm making an
issue
argument.
is about L and I, but go ahead.
Right, and to be fair, I don't dispute most of what Mr. Orphanides stated, but the code explicitly says that the Planning Commission shall decide
Mhm.
the primary frontage. The Planning Commission makes that, they stamp it on the plan, and L&I issues a permit or a variance or acts based off of the Planning Commission's determination. So whether L&I interpreted the Planning Commission's decision. I don't believe it's up to this board to overrule a Planning Commission decision when L&I just plainly acted on what they decided.
All right, Leonard?
Yeah, I would just echo that, and also particularly add that, again, this is an appeal where, again, they've appealed against L&I. There is a provision that says that if you want to appeal a preliminary decision by one of the agencies that makes a preliminary review, you can appeal that through an appeal to the zoning board. But this was never presented as an appeal against the decision of the Planning Commission. So this is kind of a new argument here. It was not part of the original notice of appeal that was submitted by, in my recollection, it was not part of the original appeal that was submitted by the appellant. We'll just preserve that argument for now and just see.
We'll start, but my view of this is about L and I.
Well, so then I just want to clarify that, because to me, it's about an appeal of the permit, of the zoning permit. And whether you want to, I mean, we typically call that an appeal against L&I, but it's an appeal of the zoning permit, and that includes the underlying prerequisite reviews that were served as the basis of that zoning permit.
Wait a minute, I see my counsel's getting her, we're good. All right, start. We're
Sure.
starting. We're going to
Sure.
see how this goes, okay?
So I mean, I've given a brief opening, and I think with that, I'm gonna get right into the meat of it. We had a report prepared by a land planner, Brian Seidel of Seidel Planning. I'm gonna have him go through the report and go through his conclusions, the basis for his conclusions, which are that, again, there are two primary frontages for this property, and as such, the approved structure should have been set back from both Ardley Street and Sedgwick Street. Mr. Seidel should be on the call right now,
Okay.
so I'd have him promoted to a panelist.
Excuse me, did you say Zidell with a Z?
Seidel, Brian?
Promoting now.
If you'd like, I can share.
He's coming in as a panelist.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning. Could you please state your name and spell for the stenographer?
Sure. Name is Brian. First name is Brian. Last name is Seidel, Seidel.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
David?
Okay. Brian, have you appeared before this zoning board before?
I have.
Okay, and were you recognized as an expert in front of this zoning board?
Yes, an expert in land planning.
Okay. I would introduce Mr. Seidel's testimony today and his report as an expert in land planning before the zoning board. I included his CV with my witness list that I submitted last week. If you'd like me to go through that, I can, but otherwise.
You both okay?
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Brian, we're here, what property are we here before today?
It's regarding the property at 6930 Arley Street.
And can you tell me what area of the city that property is located at?
Yeah, it's the Upper Northwest Planning District.
Okay. And can you, for the benefit of the zoning board, I think most people will be familiar with that neighborhood, but can you give us a general overview of that neighborhood or that area of the city?
Sure. Specifically, I think it was indicated previously, is located in the southeast corner of the intersection of Arley Street and East Sedgwick Street. Generally, in terms of the housing that's in that area, most units of that block of Arley Street are semi-detached or two-family dwellings, larger front yards on the main frontage, and generally residential in character.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
For some reason, it's.
Can we let him share his screen, please?
Yes, excuse me, Mr. Orphanides, I didn't see your name, so I can promote you.
Oh,
On the
should be in
attendant.
now. I was in, and then I think I was kicked out, but I'm on now.
Okay. Yep, there you are. I'm gonna promote now. You should be coming in now.
Great. All right. Can you tell us a little bit about the neighborhood in general, though? Like the characteristics of the neighborhood, not just the block?
Sure. Well, sure. And in general, I'd say it's a residential neighborhood. The property, the subject property is served by a rear residential alley that connects to each Sedgwick Street. In terms of the frontage on Arley, as I mentioned, those buildings generally have a pretty large setback, building setback from Arley Street, so they have larger front yards. I believe the front yard is approximately 35 feet based on the zoning drawings that were provided in the application. And then regarding the end units or the corner, what I call the corner properties on these areas, those properties are also set back from the adjoining streets.
Okay, so when you're talking about the 6900 block of Ardley Street right now, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And then you're talking about, as far as corners, are you talking about what streets are at the end of either block? At the end of the block, at either end of the block, I'm sorry.
Sure. We're adjacent to East Sedgwick Street. And then to the east would be East Gorgas Lane.
Okay. And the conditions that you've described regarding setbacks exist at both ends of the block?
That's correct.
Okay. And then the lots that are located in between the corner properties, they are set back from Ardley Street as well, correct?
That's correct.
And you provided me with a report, and you have photographs of these conditions in your report, correct?
I do.
Okay, and right now I'm looking at page 5 of 20. Those photographs are of what?
Page 5 of 20, the first photograph is a street view of a few units, 69, 20, 22, 24, 26, and 28 Arley Street. Those are generally the what I call the intermediate lots, interior lots.
On which side of the 1600 block of Ardley Street?
That would be on the south side.
And that's the same side as the subject property?
That's correct.
Okay, and 6928 Ardley, is that the property that's located abutting our property?
Correct.
That's the other semi-detached structure that's, for lack of a better word, attached to 6930?
Yes.
Okay. And then the photographs at the bottom are of what?
That would be the north side of Ardley Street.
Okay, of the 6900 block.
The 6900 block, 69, 33, 31, 29, and 27.
And that's they have the same conditions, correct?
Same conditions, larger setbacks, a little bit different character in terms of those units have front entry garages and driveways facing Ardley Street.
Okay. And then in terms of the ends of the block, I've pulled up page, I think, 6 of your report. What do those show?
Page 6 generally shows the corner lots. Street view, first one is street view at 6000 Ardley Street. And then the second one is 601 Ardley Street. So basically the two adjoining, adjoining corner lots.
They're at the opposite end of Ardley Street, of the 6900 block of Ardley, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then both of those buildings are located in what way to the adjacent streets?
They're in both situations, they're primarily facing Ardley Street, but they provide a substantial setback from the adjacent East Gorgas Lane as well.
Okay. So then when you get to the R end of the block, what are the conditions that exist there?
Sure. So I think the next photograph that we're showing on page 7 is a street view of 6935 Ardley Street. This would be on the north side of Ardley Street, opposite the subject property. Again, situation or a characteristic that's very similar to the subject property. Facing Ardley Street, substantial side yard setback. Because Sedgwick, I'm sorry, is on a little bit of an angle. What you get is a little bit of irregularity on that side yard. So you can see at the rear of that property at 6935, the building's a little bit closer to the street, but closer to Ardley, the front of the building has a much larger setback. As we compared that to the zoning drawings on the subject property, we estimated, I think it was 11 feet setback from Sedgwick Street at the closest point and 24 feet at the furthest point.
Okay, and then in terms of the other page 8 of your report, you have an aerial, you've included an aerial that shows, can you describe what's shown in that photograph?
Sure. So what we're showing here is basically the surrounding blocks or surrounding properties and buildings on those blocks. In the lower corner where there's a red dot, that is the subject property of 6930 Ardley Street. And you can see all the surrounding properties on the block, the adjacent properties on either side of Ardley Street, all maintain a very similar character with a larger setback from Ardley Street, but also very substantial setbacks from East Sedgwick.
Okay, and then and what addresses are we talking about? So the red dot is 6930, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and that shows the setbacks from both Ardley Street to the right and Sedgwick Street to the north, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
And-
and
and
then if I move to the right, bottom right-hand corner, is that 6935 that we showed the picture of just before?
6935 Ardley, correct.
Okay, also set back from both corners, correct?
Yes.
And then if I move to the upper right-hand corner of that photograph, what's that address?
I believe that's 7001.
Okay. And can you tell us about the orientation and the configuration of that lot?
Yes, same orientation, facing Ardley Street. Again, significant setback from Ardley and a significant setback from Sedgwick as well.
And then as I move to the left, the one that's across the street that runs from left to right, which is Sedgwick Street, correct?
Correct. I believe that's 7000 Sedgwick. That's immediately adjacent to the subject property across Sedgwick Street.
Okay. And then to the left, on the other side of the railroad tracks, there's another corner property, which is kind of behind our property. And what is that address?
That one is 6945 Sprague.
And what is that what's the configuration there and the orientation of that property?
Similar configuration. The units are facing Sprague Street, but again, substantial setback and green buffer from the sidewalk on East Sedgwick Street.
And you found there were zoning archives for 6945 Sprague Street. Do you know what the setback was stated in those zoning archives for Sprague Street?
I believe it was similar to the subject property and was set back approximately 10 or 11 feet.
Okay, thank you. Now, you mentioned, we showed 6935 already, and then you mentioned 7,000, and then I believe the other catty-cornered is 7,005 Ardley. I think you called it 7,001. But the intermediate lots on Ardley Street, they have their main entrance is on the front or the sides of the buildings?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
For the intermediate lots on the 6900 block of Ardley Street, are the main entrances to the homes are in the front facing Ardley Street, or are they on the side facing the side yard?
The intermediate lots face and have frontage on Ardley Street.
Okay. And then there's a walkway out to Ardley Street, correct?
That's correct.
And for the corner properties that are across Sedgwick Street, across Ardley Street, where are the entrances to, first of all, where's the entrance to the existing building at 6930 Ardley? Is it out to Ardley Street or is it out to Sedgwick Street?
It is out to Sedgwick Street.
And is that a condition that's similar to the opposite corners, the other three corners at the intersection of Sedgwick and Ardley Street?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, you'd also included a larger aerial of the aerial context map. Is this condition of the corner properties, residential properties being set back from both street frontages, is that common condition, prevalent condition? Is it the exception to the rule in the community?
It is a common condition. It's difficult to see at this scale in the photograph that we provided, but if you were to zoom in and look at all of the elements and all of the corners of the surrounding area, again, residential area, but they provide substantial setbacks from both roadways on those corner lots.
Okay. Now, you took a look at the zoning code provisions that govern street frontages. Is that correct?
I did.
And you included a review and an analysis of those provisions in your report, correct?
Yes.
And can you quickly tell the zoning board, what does the zoning code provide regarding corner properties?
So on page 11 of our report, we provided a graphic from the city code that does identify what is considered front yards. In this graphic, it shows regular lot, 2 street corner lots, 3 street lots, and through lots. In all of those situations, every frontage or every side of the lot that adjoins a street line is considered a front line.
Okay. Now, does it go on to address are both street frontages and both fronts to be dealt with the same way, or does the zoning code go on to distinguish or create the possibility of distinguishing between the different street frontages?
It does distinguish. It does indicate at least one frontage needs to be designated as a primary frontage, and then gives, I would say, criteria or direction in terms of what to use to identify those primary facades.
And what are those criteria?
Orientation of the primary structure, the orientation of the structures on adjacent lots, adjacent corner lots, and the orientation of other structures with frontage on the same block. And also the street type designation of the bounding streets.
Okay. Now, you mentioned, so does the code say that there can be only one primary frontage, or there can be more than one primary frontage?
It says at least one frontage.
Okay,
So there
is
can
it-
be more.
There can be more. All right. And what is the result if only one of the frontages is deemed to be a primary frontage?
In this situation, that it would be a reduced side yard setback.
So would the front yard setback requirements apply to that frontage that's not a primary street frontage, that's not a primary frontage?
They would not.
Okay. And do you believe that that's what happened in the review of this zoning permit application?
Yes, and the zoning drawings are stamped that they identify a primary frontage. But if the illustration that I provided on page 11 of the report, identifying the front and side yard designations, the point of identifying, in my opinion, the point of identifying a front yard facade is to determine if the opposing lot line is going to be a side or a rear lot line. And that is the stamp on the zoning drawings, identifying what is the primary facade, but then also to identify what is the opposing lot line, if it was going to be a side or a rear line.
Okay. And then did you go through and analyze and apply the criteria for the designation of a primary frontage to the conditions that exist at the subject property and surrounding the subject property?
Yes.
Okay. And could you please go through those quickly for the board?
Sure. The orientation of the primary structure. Again, the primary structure faces Ardley Street, but it does have that access and entrance that does face East Sedgwick Street. The orientation of structures on adjacent corner lots, as we provided in a previous graphic. If we look at all of the corners of East Sedgwick and Arley Street, all of these residential units are set back from Ardley, but also substantially set back from East Sedgwick. The orientation of other structures with frontage on the same block face. Again, going down and looking at the area of East Sedgwick between Arley and Sprague to the south. Again, all of those units on that block are set back from East Sedgwick. And street type designation of the bounding street. So East Sedgwick in this situation is a lower tiered street. It's considered a lower density residential street.
Okay. And what are the different street types there?
Let's see, sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the designation of Ardley. I want to make sure I state this the correct city neighbor. It's Arlea is considered a city neighborhood street.
And then from the Complete Streets Design Handbook, did you pull up what the different characteristics of each of those two streets are and the photographs that they provide and the Streets Department provides in the Complete Streets
Yes.
Handbook?
Yeah.
And in looking at those two, so you're saying Ardley Street is a city neighborhood street, and you're saying East Sedgwick was designated as a low-density residential street, correct?
Correct.
But in looking at the descriptions and looking at the photographs, and obviously streets are different in the city of Philadelphia from block to block. And when you looked at the Streets Department's designations of these streets, they don't change generally block to block. They generally stretch for a fair distance over several blocks, correct?
That's correct.
But in looking at, despite the way that it's designated on the Streets Department's, I guess you looked at their website? Is that correct? That which characteristics and which photographs seem to resemble both streets?
What's characterized or described as the lower density residential streets and shown in that character is basically the character of both Ardley and East Sedgwick.
Okay. Now, so based upon your review of the criteria set forth in the zoning code and the conditions that exist both in the neighborhood as a whole and at this particular intersection, the adjacent properties located adjacent to the subject property. And real quickly, do you know what the definition of adjacent is in the zoning code? Does it include properties across the street?
It does include properties across the street, yes. I believe the specific definition is to touch or share a contiguous boundary or border, or to be separated by an alley, shared driveway, or street.
Okay. And there's a shared driveway to the rear of the property, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So is it your conclusion that was the Planning Commission's designation of one primary frontage and that primary frontage being Ardley Street, was that correct or incorrect?
I believe that designation was incorrect.
And what should have been the designations?
I think both roadways should have been identified as a primary frontage because of the corner lot configuration and the existing building setbacks that exist not only in the subject property, but on the surrounding adjacent properties and the block face.
Now, what is the importance of that? If they're both primary frontages, what would the setback be at East Sedgwick Street? Would it be 0 feet, 0 inches as shown on the zoning plans?
It would not.
Okay, and based upon the definition in the zoning code for front setback, what would it be, or what would the range be?
In this situation, I think it would be approximately 10 foot, which is the existing setback of the existing building.
And what's that based upon?
Based on the existing building location.
And is that at all determined by any of the surrounding properties?
Yes. Based on frontage, one of the other criteria for setbacks is based on the average distance of adjacent properties on the same block face.
And it's your position that which properties are located adjacent to the property in terms of Sedgwick Street?
Adjacent, based on the definition, would be opposite Ardley.
What address is that?
That would be 6935 Ardley Street.
Okay. And then what other properties?
Regarding the block face, it would be 6945 East Sedgwick.
No, I think 6945 was Sprague.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. 6945 Sprague Street.
And then what other adjacent properties are there?
The other adjacent property would be on the opposite side of East Sedgwick Street, which would be the 7000 Arley, I believe.
Okay. So your position is based upon the zoning code that it would have to be, there would need to be a setback at East Sedgwick Street.
There would, yes.
That would be, would it have to match those setbacks, or what is the setbacks of the adjacent properties? What is the regulation?
No greater or no less than.
Okay. And then from the photographs, you've approximated, did you go out, you didn't go onto anybody's property and measure their side yards, did you?
We did not. We just based it off of aerial photography and zoning drawings that were provided with the application.
Okay. Your report goes on to talk about, planning type of considerations. Can you briefly talk to the zoning board about those?
Sure. We reviewed the Upper Northwest District Plan, which generally provides a guideline of development within that area. The existing land use analysis identifies the existing land use of the subject properties and all of the surroundings as a low-density residential area. For new housing development, it suggests for new housing, new units should be guided toward existing infrastructure, away from lower density blocks, and new development should remain compatible with the existing buildings. Housing recommendation policy, priority number 5 is to direct multifamily housing development to commercial streets and train stations. Neither one of these streets, Sedgwick or Arley, are considered commercial streets. The area around the subject property was identified as a proposed local historic district, identified as Sedgwick Farms B. The proposed land use that's identified in the plan identifies the area and the surroundings as a low-density residential area. Proposed zoning, there's no corrective zoning measures that were identified in the plan, and that everything was intended to remain as RSD1. I believe that was a summary of the neighborhood plan.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to interject at this point. I was a little bit distracted checking something, but I'm objecting to this portion of the testimony because this doesn't go towards the issue of, the street frontage. And this is more, I'm not sure what context this discussion of the comprehensive plan is taking place. This is, we're now at are we making a new argument about the zoning change ordinance, the remapping that took place in 2024? Or, what is the purpose of this portion of this testimony?
Can you respond to that, please?
Certainly. It's the Planning Commission. And the Planning Commission is directed to review applications in context of the plan.
Yes, no, the Planning Commission was directed to make a determination about which, actually, not really street frontage per se, but which of the remaining lot lines on the corner lot constituted a side lot line and a rear lot line. It had nothing to do with making a determination about the appropriateness of the project.
We believe that goes into making a decision regarding primary frontage.
So, listen to me. Listen to me. I agree with Mr. Reuter. I think you're getting a little bit too far away. So why don't you continue and give me where you.
There is a criteria that talks about.
I think you got a little bit too far away.
Okay, all right. We respectfully disagree, but
sure.
Thank you very much. Okay. So Brian, let's just even put the planning side of it, those factors or those elements out of your consideration. In looking at the zoning code, the definitions that are set forth therein, and the conditions that exist out at the property in the neighborhood, but in particular the 6900 block of Ardley Street and the intersection of Ardley Street and East Sedgwick Street, and the block face from Ardley Street on East Sedgwick Street from Ardley Street to Sprague Street. Can you please provide the zoning board again of your position regarding the Planning Commission's determination?
Sure. In summary, I would say the proposed development it's been approved with the zoning permit is completely out of character with the setbacks of all the surrounding.
Yeah, Brian, I'm just asking you about the criteria of the zoning code. Okay? Yeah.
Sure.
Because we've already
yeah,
ruled on
we-
the character.
right.
Yeah. They've ruled on the
And-
character.
Sure, and you're referring to the criteria pertaining to primary frontage?
Primary frontage, and then once, if you, first primary frontage, sure.
Sure. Again, first criteria is primary frontage, which faces Ardley Street, but also, again, provides access. The subject property provides direct access and frontage to East Sedgwick. The orientation of structures on adjacent corner lots. Again, we went through the discussion of those setbacks from those surrounding corner lots. The orientation of structures with frontage on the same block face. We identified that area between Arley and Sprague Street, and designation of bounding streets. Again, East Sedgwick Street being a lower volume, lower classification street, identified as a lower density street, which is described as having those larger setbacks from the roadway.
Okay. So your determination is what regarding primary frontage?
Primary frontage should be provided on both Arley and East Sedgwick Street for the property.
Then based upon that, should there be a setback on East Sedgwick Street as well as Ardley Street?
There should, yes.
And that setback should be what?
No greater or no less than the adjacent lots.
Okay. And we already know that the abutting property or adjacent property on Ardley Street, 6928, is that roughly in line with the current setback for 6930 from Ardley Street?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
The setback from Ardley Street for 6930, is that no closer, no further than the setback for 6928 Ardley Street?
Yes, that's correct.
And then you also already addressed there is a setback at the adjacent properties to the subject property. They are all set back about how far?
The northeast side of Ardley, 6935 Ardley would be similar to the subject property. And the properties on the opposite side of East Sedgwick are set back a greater distance than the subject property.
And when you say the subject property, you mean the building on the subject property, correct?
That's correct. The building at 6930.
And then you already referenced the zoning permit for 6945 Sprague Street, correct? The setback
Yes.
there. Okay. I have no further questions, but I reserve the right to come up to rebut.
To Goldberg.
Mr. Seidel, page 11 of your report speaks about the Planning Commission's responsibility to determine primary frontage. That's section 14701 1D.4. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. To the best of your knowledge, is the Planning Commission part of LNI?
Are they part of LNI?
Is it a part of LNI or is it a separate entity?
I believe that would be a separate entity.
Is it governed by LNI in any way?
I don't believe so.
Do you believe that LNI has the discretion to overturn a Planning Commission decision?
Sir,
I'm
thinking?
I'm thinking, I'm looking at the date specifically of the zoning drawings that were received and approved here. I'm sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Does LNI have to the best of your knowledge, does LNI have the discretion to overturn a Planning Commission decision?
I don't believe so.
In your extensive experience working in city planning and LNI related matters in the city of Philadelphia, have you seen an LNI examiner disagree with a Planning Commission decision and withhold the issuance of a permit on that basis?
Not that I've experienced firsthand.
And your opinion is that the planning commission incorrectly identified the primary frontage or frontages?
Yes.
Couple more questions for you. You spoke about the criteria that the planning commission considers when determining a primary frontage, correct?
Yes.
Does the orientation of the structure, specifically the structure at 6930, match that orientation of other building structures on our side, on our block of Ardley Street?
In terms of the building setback from Arley Street? Yes.
And entrances?
I'm sorry, I'm having a difficult time hearing you.
And entry points?
And entry points, no, I would say that was different.
Okay, can you expand on that?
Sure, the entry point for the property at 6930 Ardley has access onto East Sedgwick.
Correct, but I'm specifically referencing the building structures, aside from where it sits on the street. Are the entrances to the building structures on the twins on this block on the sides of the building structure or at the front of the building structure?
Yes, I see what you're saying. They are located on the side of the building.
Okay. And last question for you, are you aware, with regard specifically to the 3 other corner properties at our intersection, are you aware of any determination the planning commission has made regarding those properties' primary frontages or frontage?
No.
That's all.
Leonard?
Sure, just a couple questions. Sir, referring back to your report to page 11, which just particularly the graph that's shown, which is taken from the Philadelphia Code, section 14-701, sub 1, sub D, I believe.
Can we share that, Len?
Point D. D? Just D.
It's D.
Yeah. I can pull it up. but,
Oh, okay. I'll stop sharing
I mean,
that.
it'd
Sorry.
be easier if you did it since you're.
Oh, okay. Sure. Let me now go down here.
There you go.
There. Yep. that
Okay,
one?
great.
Yep.
So that graph, you would agree with me that the graph there is simply showing whether you have street frontages, where the street fronts are on a corner lot. So in this instance, would you agree that looking at the shape of the relative shapes of lots and understanding that 6930 is a little bit irregularly shaped, would you agree that from a satellite view, the left side, the left street shown here would be Ardley, and the street on the bottom that's going horizontally, that would be Sedgwick? Would you agree?
I'm sorry, say it again. The property, I would say generally the property, the street on top would be Ardley and I'm sorry. I understand what you're saying. Go ahead. You want to repeat your question?
Sure. I mean, well, let me just put it this way. There's no disagreement that Ardley Street, that Ardley and Sedgwick are both front streets. You agree with that?
I would agree with that.
Okay. And the determination in 701 sub 1 sub D point 4 has to do with making a determination of which is the primary front street or the primary frontage. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. So because if you only have one front street, there's no reason to have to determine the primary frontage. There's only one, correct?
If there's only one street and not a corner lot, correct.
Okay. So when we're talking about 14701 sub D sub point 4, that's the section about determining primary frontage. You agree that the commission it's the commission that determines which street frontage or frontage is so to be designated as the primary frontage?
I would agree, if I'm understanding your question, that primary frontage is identified by the commission. Yes.
Okay. And you agree that the section there, the zoning provision, provides guidelines to the commission
Correct.
Okay, and it says the things that they're to take into consideration.
Yes.
Okay. So you would agree that that consideration, that review by the commission involves a certain amount of discretion and subjectivity, right? These are not hard and fast rules. There's no specific measurements and things like that that they have to take. They're just different things they have to think about, right?
There are specific stated criteria, so I think I disagree with that.
Okay, are you saying, do you have any information or belief that the commission or the commission staff did not take into consideration the orientation of the lot or the building, the structure on the lot?
Not specific to the planning commission, but based on the approval and based on the lack of designation of East Sedgwick as a primary facade with a setback, I would say I disagree with that, yes.
Okay, so I understand that it's in your opinion, you disagree with that, but you're not here to say that the law expressly requires that the commission had picked both Ardley and Sedgwick as primary frontages, right?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
I'm going to object. Is he looking for a legal conclusion?
Okay, no, that's fine. So I don't have any further questions. That's fine.
I have a couple. You sure?
Just real quick, Mr. Seidel, when your counsel asked you what the properties were that were considered adjacent, there was one on Sprague Street, 6945, correct?
The Sprague Street, I think we identified specifically as being within the block face.
Okay, I remembered at the conclusion of the testimony, you confirmed that it was adjacent for purposes of matching a setback, and I believe that was because there was reference in the zoning archives specifically what that front setback was, 10 feet, I think. My question for you is, does our property, 6930, share a lot line with 6945 Sprague Street?
I don't believe it does, no.
And why do you not believe that to be the case?
My discussion of adjacent properties specifically referenced the four corner properties across the street from East Sedgwick and across the street from Arley Street. I think it would be the three adjoining properties, so to speak. The discussion of the property at Sprague Street at the intersection of Sprague and East Sedgwick, again, specifically spoke to a criteria regarding frontage on the same block face.
Okay. Well, in case that isn't what happened, I would like the record to be clear that adjacent properties under the code are defined as sharing a contiguous boundary or border or to be separated only by an alley, shared driveway, or street. And those two properties, ours and the one behind it on Sprague, are separated by a railway, which does not fall into the category of an alley, shared driveway, or street. And Pennsylvania case law authorities would agree that a railway is not considered an alley, shared driveway, or street. So I would just for the record like to clarify that that should not be considered adjacent.
Yeah, so a couple of follow-up.
Pardon me?
I have a couple follow-up.
Well, tell me how long is follow-ups, because we got to get out.
Less than 5 minutes. Probably 3.
Right,
I have
good,
like
sure.
Brian, I believe counsel for the property owner had brought up about the primary entrances to the property being on the sides of the buildings on the 6900 block. As semi-detached, they could either be at the one street facing this front street or facing the side yard. And I think your answer was that the primary entrances were on the side, correct?
The building entrances, correct.
Okay. But there is a difference between the buildings, the intermediate lots, and the corner lots, in that those doors on the side for the corner lots, they have walkways that lead to the cross street or the side street, correct?
That's correct.
In this case, it would be leading to Sedgwick Street, correct?
Correct.
But in the case of the intermediate lots, the other semi-detached structures, their doors on the side, they have walkways that lead to Ardley Street, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, in terms of 6945 Sprague, you read the definition of for determining primary or determining setbacks in RM1. Now, I'm going to go back to that, to that provision in your code, in your report where you talk about that. When do you look, so it says you look to adjacent properties, which I think, as council stated, can include properties across the street. And that's not, a lot of people get confused about what's abutting, what's adjacent. That's a little unusual. You might not think of across the street or across an alley or across a shared drive as being adjacent. And maybe that's what the Planning Commission may have missed out on. But when here on, you talked about block face. And when are the situations when you look at the setback of properties on block faces versus, let's say, an adjacent property? And it's particular why we're looking at 6945 Sprague.
Sure. The reason you would look at the block face is if there are no adjacent properties. In this situation, there are adjacent properties. In terms of looking at the criteria, we were just being conservative in saying there are several criteria that all address, and in my opinion, recommend frontage along East Sedgwick Street.
But we know that there's a railroad track between there's our property, a shared driveway. I think we can all acknowledge it's in the photographs and the aerials. It's on the plans. Then there's a railroad track, and then there's 6945 Sprague. So there isn't, as mentioned, an adjacent property. I'm not sure how the railroad tracks will qualify as an adjacent property, but you've stated that 6945 is the next property on the block face, correct? Between Ardley Street and Sprague Street, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, David, Mr. Orfaniti, sorry. I don't know if you have just an overhead view. I can share my screen. I don't want to delay things too much, but.
Why don't you use the one that do you have a specific one you want to use, or I can?
Nah, okay, I'll just share screen.
I mean, or I have, do you want this one? That has the corner? There's the street? So our red dot is our property.
Okay, good, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I can zoom in if you'd
That's
like.
good.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Sir, we're looking now at an overhead view, if you could, and your council has indicated that the property with the red dot is the one that we're talking about. That's 6930.
That's correct.
Okay, great. And the right next to that, literally part of the same structure with the white roof, that's the adjoining property, right? Because I want to make it clear to the board what we're looking at here. So the red dot is 6930, white roof, which is literally just right up against it. It's the same structure because these are twins, right?
That's correct.
And would you agree that most, if not all, of the properties on this block of the southerly portion of the 6900 block of Ardley are actually twins, correct?
Yes.
Right. And your council had referenced the entries to all of these buildings being on the quote unquote sides. Is that correct? And you would agree that you're entering all of these twins on the side. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. But you don't disagree that the fronts of the buildings, the twins, are on Ardley. The buildings front on Ardley. Do you agree?
For the intermediate lots, correct.
Okay. So in terms of the orientation of the structure and where the properties are entered, there isn't any difference between 6930 and any of the other properties on the 6900 block southern portion of the 6900 block of Ardley, is there? They're all the same.
In terms of the building design and the building entrance, correct. The difference is the sidewalk, which accesses the adjacent roadway frontage.
Okay, fine. So the only difference that 6930 has, and I assume maybe the one at the opposite end of the block, is that there's some concrete going from that sidewalk to the entry. But otherwise, it's still a side of the building.
I don't know that I would agree with that on the corner lot situation.
Okay, that's fine. I don't want to get into a debate about that. No further questions, sir.
All right, thank you.
Okay. I know we're pretty much out of time.
Yeah, so-
Can I just address one thing about the question about the
But-
nature of
but
the appeal?
David,
Hmm?
it's 2 minutes you got. That's it.
Okay, sure. I just want to show that with this question about whether this is an appeal against LNI, the planning commission should be considered. I mean, first of all.
Well, wait a
there-
minute, no, here, no,
Okay.
because they're gonna have to apply. They're gonna
Okay,
have to,
all right,
you know.
okay, so we can
we're
still
gonna-
go
so
forward.
We're
'cause-
gonna do a resumptive hearing,
Sure.
9/15/26 at 9:30 AM.
I'm sorry, what was the date?
Pardon me?
9/15.
9:15
Thanks.
date, and 9:30 AM will be the hearing. I'm sorry for the people who came down, but as you see, we got as far as we can go, okay? And thank you all, appreciate it. David, thank you. and-
Thanks.
All right. Is there anyone in the audience whose case, what's the matter? Oh. Is there anyone in the audience whose case has not been called for the 9:30 AM list?
I see no hands.
Thanks, everybody. See everybody tomorrow.
All right.